good morning, all of you. I hope you all are doing good. So I welcome you all for this CA final direct tax batch for May 23 and November 23, which will be conducted for around next 2.5 months approximately. So next 2.5 months, you need to be very disciplined as far as attendance of lecture is considered. Make sure that you don't miss any of the lectures from between. In case you miss because of some of the reasons, make sure that you take the backup and see on the same day. We try to upload the lectures on the same day itself. In case there is any lecture you have missed, first of all, try that you don't miss any lectures first of all, because all the topics are interconnected to each other. There are a lot of topics which are connected to the previous chapters. So if you have not attended a previous lecture, you might find it little bit difficult to understand the subsequent chapters as well. So don't make a habit of missing the lectures. That is the first thing that I would like to start with. Okay. Now, how we are going to go about in the next few months, let's first of all understand the roadmap of that, and then we'll start with the discussion of the direct tax. Okay. So you guys might have got total 6 books. Okay. There are 3 detailed books which cover the content as per the ICI material in detail about the entire subject. I believe that direct tax is a very practical subject, and direct tax is a subject where you need to apply the subject in the exam rather than just mugging up. Mugging up is not sufficient in direct tax. All those who mug up in the paper like direct tax fail like anything in the exams. So you need to understand the subject logically. For understanding the subject logically, you need to learn in detail. So we will be learning the subject in detail in class. At the same time, we cannot learn so much things on the day of exams. So what has to be done on the day of exam? For that, we have color book. Those 2 color books covers the entire subject in comprehensiveness, entire subject. It is around 500 pages in all. ICI material of direct tax is around 2500 pages. We have tried to sum up that particular thing in around 500 pages, that too in color form, so that it makes some interest in us to read that particular book. That color book is also made with lot of efforts. Let me tell you how that book has been made. I'll let you know what all things have been covered in that book. Just a second. You need to understand that how the books have been made and how we are going to go about. Yes, this is the colored book, volume 1. You might got all the volumes at your end. We will be using first volume for half of the batch and the next half for the next half batch. Now, this book has been made by putting 4 colors in your books for your better retention. Whatever you feel that it is important is already done in red. Whatever is the latest amendment which are applicable for your exam as per the latest Finance Act. The latest Finance Act you all might be knowing is the 2022 budget, right? Which is applicable for May 23 and November 23 both. For both, this budget is only applicable. Anybody from November 23 over here? Okay, Bhavisha. Okay, Kajal. So even if you are from November 23, don't worry. You might be knowing that a new budget will come next year, right? But that will not be applicable for your exams. That will be applicable for May 24 and November 24. This is the trend that ICI follows. Okay. So by mistake also, don't see the next budget. By mistake also, see after your exams. Otherwise, all those things, all those new amendments will go into your mind and you will start to apply what in your exams, which is not applicable for your exams. Be very careful. For May and November, one single budget is applicable, that is of last year. Okay. So all the amendments are done in green. So that if you want to put a special attention on those amendments, you can put that. Third, all the case laws, the High Court judgments, the Supreme Court judgments, etc. are done in blue. And all the section numbers are done in purple. Okay, it might have been missed out from at 1 or 2 places, but most of the places it is not. Let me show you and you have a master index also at the beginning of the chapter. That is, say for example, profits and gains from business and profession. So which provision is there on which page? So that there is an ease at your end to search that particular provision. Okay. So it's a long index. Then comes the topic. You will find out that whatever is the important thing is already done in red. You need not have to highlight also. If you still want to highlight something, you can do at your end. Okay. There is a case law which is done at green. Okay. At blue, sorry. Then if there is some amendment, it will be done at green. Like this is an amendment. So it is done in green and it is already written that this is an amendment made by Finance Act 2022. So for your revision purpose, on the day of exam, how to read, all those things I'll be speaking in class. Don't worry about it. Okay. But at the beginning only, this book should be your base on the day of exam. On the day of exam, you cannot pick up a book of 2000 pages or volume 1, volume 2, volume. My detailed book also will not be helpful on the day of exam. Let me tell you very clearly. Because on the day of exam, you'll be having around 20 to 22 hours before exams. It is practically impossible to revise the entire subject in 20 to 22 hours, even from the color summary book. You will miss out some topics from there also. Because along with that, you have to do a lot of questions also. You might have marked some questions. You have to do that also. And there are a lot of stuff which I'll be thinking about. So like RTPs you might be seeing some mock test papers, etc. So there are a lot of things to be seen. It's not that easy. It's not that easy to complete the entire subject a day before exam in around 20 to 22 hours. Still, we will try our best to cover maximum portion a day before exam. That's what the strategy is of this entire batch. So while learning the chapters, we will be learning from detailed book. And at the same time, whatever we have learned from detailed books, say in 3 hours in a lecture, we should be knowing the answer to that particular thing, that how we are going to sum up this in 15 minutes. If we have an answer to that question, then we are on the right track. So unless and until we learn in detail and sum up that, is of no use. If we continue going learning, then after 15 lectures, you will not remember anything. That's a very simple human tendency. Very simple human tendency. Therefore, our approach would be dual approach. To first of all learn in detail from the textbook and at the same time summarize from the color book. And later on, as of now, it is not there. Later on, for your attempt, there will be, let me show you. I'm not able to connect the internet. Later on, I'll try to do it. But I'll let you know that later on, after the revision from this book, there are complete revision videos on YouTube. And complete revision. The entire syllabus will be revised as per your latest book, as per your latest amendment, as per May 23 and November 23, the way I have done it for earlier attempt. That is, I have done it for November 22, May 22, November 21, May 21, and in both the language, in English also and in Hindi also, if whichever language you want to see. Some of you who are attending the lectures in English might be definitely knowing Hindi also. So you can watch in Hindi also if you want. Okay. So the entire revision videos will be there for the entire subject. There is a technology, so we are making use of that. So that's how we are going to go about. Apart from that, later on, we will also be doing what? Lots of questions around more than 300 questions in class itself. And what all things will be covered in the question bank. Let me tell you that also. Okay. This is the question bank which you guys have with you all. Okay. We'll be starting this question bank after few lectures, not now, because for that we need some knowledge of the subject. We cannot directly start with the questions. But after a few lectures, we are going to start with the questions. How this question bank is designed. This is one of the most comprehensive question banks. It is also available in the market for sale, which covers, first of all the chapters of the ICI as per the ICI study material standard. This is the chapter in the order of the ICI material. You will get all the questions of ICI material in the question bank. We'll be solving all of them in the class itself. Now, after that, you'll be finding Finance Act 2022 specific questions, which are based on recent amendments, so that you understand the recent amendments properly, in a proper way. Then there are past ICI RTPs. Last 4 to 5 RTPs are there in the class, are there in the textbook in our question bank, and we'll be solving that in the class. Don't worry. I'm not just putting in the textbook. We'll be solving that in the class. We'll be discussing that in the class. Then there are past ICI mock test papers also in this particular booklet. We'll be solving that also. And then there are past suggested answers, which are exam papers. So that we come to know how exactly the questions are asked in exam. And are we able to apply? That will be my test at the end of the batch. That will be my test, not your test. Whether what I am teaching and whether what you are understanding, are you able to apply that in the exam or not? Okay. Last but not least, we will also be keeping a test series after the batch ends. That will be free test series. There will be nothing to pay for that. I do not believe in that, taking money for the purpose of testing a student. That is my duty, that you should be thoroughly prepared for the entire subject. That is my duty. If some of you follow me on YouTube, then you might be knowing that that's already a test series which is going for November 2022 attempt. Okay. Whereby I come on YouTube and I do not do a general checking of the paper, but I do a specific checking of the paper, like what has to be written in every point of the answer and what the student could write which can be wrong answer. Therefore, a student should know, maximum students do not know how to pass CA exam. They study. They continue studying for around 10 years, 20 years, still they do not pass. And some of them pass in just 1 or 2 attempts. So what's the difference between two of them? The difference is in writing. Unless and until you have a writing practice, and unless and until somebody is telling you that how exactly the answers have to be written, you will not be in a position to pass the exams of CA. This is a very different kind of paper as compared to other courses. So we'll be doing that practice also. Don't worry about it. Okay. So these are the things which we are going to do. It will be a long journey. It is not going to be a short journey. It is going to be one of the biggest subject, I can say, in CA final after financial reporting. But the problem with this subject is this is a theoretical paper. There is very less to write in this paper. Financial reporting is a big paper, I agree, but there is a lot of things to write. So a 3-hour lecture goes like anything. But here you have to sit and listen to me for 3 hours most of the times. There are very few things that you have to write. The only thing which you have to do at your end, you have to sit and listen and understand. That's it. And respond to my questions. Most of the things I am going to speak. You are going to respond. I'll be asking you questions. We'll be interacting. Don't worry about it. It will not be a one-way conversation. I'll be asking you questions. You can interact at your end to the extent it is possible for you all. Okay. Last but not least, I will not make any assumptions that you guys have done this thing in IPCC, this thing in CA Inter. Don't worry about it. A lot of teachers make an assumption that PGBP is done in IPCC. So what to say in that? Capital gains is done in IPCC. So what to say in that? IFOS is done. Chapter 6 is done. Don't worry. We will be learning everything from the foundation, from the very scratch. You don't have to worry about it. Okay. And I guarantee you, after the batch completes, you will not only be ready for your exams, but you will also be ready for your practical life. If you do not like DT today, which I think some of you might not like DT today, your approach will definitely change at the end of the batch. That is something which I can guarantee you, that you can experience in the next 1 or 2 lectures itself. Okay. So without wasting any further time, shall we start with the discussion? So let's start with the discussion. The first thing which I would like to ask you all is, India is considered to be a federal structure. India, our country, is considered to be a federal structure. What do you mean by a federal structure? Anybody knows that? Our country is considered to be a federal structure. What do you mean by the term federal structure? Anybody? Louder, Bhavisha. There are different kinds of laws, etc., which are prevailing in the country. Those countries are called as, and a dynamic structure means, can you elaborate? What do you mean by dynamic structure, Bhavisha? Excellent, excellent. There is no one government which is controlling the entire country. There are multiple stages of government which are there at multiple places. Like we have a federal structure because we are governed by multiple government, mainly 2 governments. Which 2 governments? Central government and state government, right? Right or not? So those countries which are governed by multiple governance, not by one governance, like Saudi Arabia, like UAE, like Dubai. Dubai is not a federal structure. Dubai is governed by one person, right? It's a kingdom. But India is a democratic country. It is governed by multiple governments. United States is a democratic country. It is also a federal structure. India is a federal structure. US is a federal structure. Therefore, in federal structure, there are multiple governance, as said by Bhavisha. One is central government, one is state government. Okay. And to run a government, to run a country, you need what? You need money. Obviously, money is the primary source to run a country. From where the government gets the money? The government gets the money, maximum money, from taxes and duties, right? From taxes and duties. So my question to you all is, there are so many kind of taxes which are there in this country. You will learn over the time in direct tax that how many kind of taxes which are there in country. Still you will not understand the comprehensiveness of taxes imposed by the government of India or the state government. There are so many different kind of taxes which are there in this country. I earn income, I have to pay income tax. On that income tax also I have to pay some cess also, right? Then whatever money is left with me, after that, if I buy some product, I have to pay GST, I have to pay excise duty at some places. At some places, I have to pay VAT also. Even today, like on petrol and etc., there is still VAT, there is still excise duty. I hope you know that, right? Then some money is left. I go to buy a house. I go to buy a house. I have saved some money to buy a house. Then there also they are taking money in the form of what? Registration charges, stamp duty, right? Then I bought a car, say of worth 15 lakhs. Then out of that 15 lakhs worth of car, 7.5 lakh is taxes and RTO charges and insurance and all these things. More than 50% of the cost of the car is in taxes and insurance. So there is no, then I took my car for a long drive to Lonavala, for example. Then they are stopping me in between and saying pay toll. That is also a kind of tax. There are taxes which are paid by every citizen of this country at every moment in life. There is no day in this country where we do not pay taxes. Obviously, we are not focusing in all those taxes, but those taxes will be some or the other way connected to income tax. We'll be talking about them. In brief, our main focus will be obviously income tax. So taxes are the lifeblood for the governments, and that is the fuel to run the economy. And government need taxes. So what do you feel? If tomorrow government is falling short of money, can they bring a new taxation law? Do they have the power to bring a new taxation law? That is my question to you all. If tomorrow the government is saying that there is a COVID situation and we need money, so we are bringing a new law. So can they go to parliament and bring a new law to impose new taxes on us? Please tell. Do they have the power to do that? Please tell. You have to speak. You cannot sit like this. Please. That would be better for you all. Please say, Gopi. They can bring new taxes? Do the government has absolute power to bring any taxes in this country? Let's talk about one government, that is central government. Let's forget about state government as of now. Do the central government has absolute power to bring any taxes? Any taxes? Any duties? Any levies? What do you feel? Please say. They can. And the answer is no. No, Gopi. They do not have absolute power. For that, we have our what? Constitution of India. Our Constitution of India has been divided into three parts. We all know that, right? That is what? Union list 1, state list 2, and concurrent list is 3. Listen carefully, please. Today's lecture is mainly on fundamentals of the income tax law and other laws. As a chartered accountant, if you do not know what I say in today's lecture, then you have not learned any law properly, including income tax law. You need to know the basic structure of this country, how it has been made. And there is one article in the Constitution, Article 265, which says what? Listen carefully. This is the article which gives the government the power to impose taxes and duties. This article says that no taxes or duties shall be imposed by the government without a proper law. Unless and until there is a proper law, the government cannot impose any taxes and duties. This is the right which has been given from the Constitution and to what? To the government. Do you agree that the Constitution is the supreme law of any country? Nothing is above Constitution. Do you agree to that? So our Constitution, Indian Constitution, is the supreme law for our country. Is the government also bound by that Constitution? Is the citizen also bound by that Constitution? Everybody who is staying in this country, including the government, the authorities, the Supreme Court, the High Court, the different authorities like RBI, SEBI, everybody is bound by the Constitution. Nobody can go beyond Constitution. It is ultra virus. They will be punishable of an offense for going beyond Constitution. Therefore, the Constitution of Article 265 says that no taxes or duties can be imposed by the government unless there is a proper law. And then the constitution has been drafted and it is divided into three parts. Union list, certain laws are there. State list, certain laws are there. And concurrent list, certain laws are there. So these are the lists which will give power to the government of India to make laws. Like, let me tell you, there is one entry number 82, which says that the central government has the power to impose what? Income tax. So unless this entry is there, central government cannot make income tax law. This entry has to be there. A union list has to give a power to central government. A state list has to give power to the state government. And concurrent list will give power to the central and state both, which will be common matters for both of them. I'll be giving example of all of them. So today, the government has made income tax law. Long back they have made. Why? The reason is entry number 82. If entry number 82 would have not been there, the government could not make what? Income tax law. The government could not make income tax law. Similarly, can I say in future, if the government needs money, which they might need, if they want to bring new taxation law, first of all, do they have to change the constitution? Please let me know. If tomorrow, after 5 years, they need more money, they want to bring new taxation law, do they have to first change the constitution of India? Please say. They have to first change the constitution. Then only they can do what? They can bring a new law. So unless this entry would have been there, they would have not brought an income tax law. And what is written in this entry? There is nothing great written. There is one line, just one line. If you get time in your life, you can go and read the constitution. But I don't think so. Being a CS student, you will get time. Okay? Forget about it. You can see after exams. Leave it for now. So what is written in entry number 82? Just one line. I'll speak the complete line now. Taxes can be imposed on any income except agricultural income. Just one line. That's it. What? Means what? Taxes can be imposed on what? Any income except there is only one income which is excluded by constitution. Just one. That is agriculture. Rest all, if the government wishes to impose tax, they can do so. But on agriculture income, if the central government, even if they wish to do so, they cannot do. Even if they wish to do so, they cannot do. On agriculture income. That is something which is beyond their powers. Similarly, everybody agrees there is something called as customs law. Right? Customs Act, which year? No idea. Sir, we are not done with IDT now. Don't ask us IDT questions. No issues. Entry number 83, custom duty. It came in 1962. Even here it is written that custom duty can be imposed on import and export of goods. Why? Custom law came because of this entry. If this entry would have not been there, custom law would have not come. Because this entry is there, custom law is brought by the government of India. This entry will give the power to central government and accordingly central government will bring the law. Similarly, earlier there was entry number 84 which was talking about excise duty. Now it is not much relevant. Not much relevant. So, similarly, I am not revealing this answer. You can find out at your end. The next question which I am saying, I am not revealing the answer to the next question. But I am just raising the question. GST came in 2017. Everybody knows that. Right? Obviously, Constitution was made in 1949. Right? At that time, nobody knew that GST will come in 2017. Right? So, if the central government wants to bring the GST law in India, what do you think? They would have amended the Constitution first before 2017? Or they have directly brought? They would have amended the Constitution before 2017, before 1st July 2017, because GST came from 1st July 2017. Right? Definitely they have amended the Constitution. And now it is your duty to identify which entry number it was. I am not getting into all those things. That let the GST professor speak about it. Right? I will not reveal that particular thing. So, before 2017, the parliament had to first of all amend the Constitution. They have to put a specific entry for GST. And then they can impose what? They can impose the GST law. Then there are more entries like this. Entry number 85, 86, 87. Some talk about wealth tax. Some talk about gift tax. There are different kind of taxes which are there. And this ends on entry number 96. So entry number 82 to entry number 96, these entries are called as specific entries. Which entries? Specific entries. But the drafters of the constitution, all those who have made the constitutions, they were super intelligent people, not normal intelligence, super intelligent people. What have they done? Please answer my question. Just think logically. Go and sit in 1950. Assume that you are in 1950. Okay? And think about it. In 1950, can you foresee that what taxes come in the next 100 years? Is it possible? It is not possible. Set in 1950, 1950, and think that become Baba Sahib Ambedkar for some time. And think that what taxes can come in the next 100 years. Can you do so? Forget about 1950. Sit today in 2022. Sit today in 2022 and think about in what will be there in the 2132. Can you think about the taxes which will come in the next 100 years? Nobody can think. We do not think about such distant future, right? So government has kept their road open, and what they have done? Entry number 82 will be called as specific entry, specific entry, specific entry, specific entry, specific entry, specific entry. 96 specific entry. Specific means all the entries talk about a specific tax. Do you agree? Income tax is a specific tax. Excise duty is a specific duty. Custom duty is a specific duty. Similarly, GST might be there somewhere, which is a specific tax. So they have kept their road open. They don't want to block the taxes. They want to keep their powers open. So they have put one general entry over here, which is called as residuary entry. Which entry? Residuary entry. Which says what? Listen carefully. If any matters which are not enumerated above, if any matters which are not mentioned above, can be taxed through entry number 97. If any matter which are not mentioned above can be taxed through what? Entry number 97. Let me ask you, before GST, which laws were there? Before GST, indirect taxes were not there. Which taxes were there before GST in the form of indirect taxes? Which were borne by us? Sales tax. Let's forget about sales tax as of now because that was a state matter, right? Let's talk about center matter. What was the tax which was belonging to central government? Any names? Let me first of all ask you what you have learned in the CA Inter, GST or you have learned GST, right? Not the old one. Okay, but still you might be knowing, having some idea about what were the taxes before GST. Central excise duty, yes. Central sales tax. Then service tax. Have you heard about that? There was something called a service tax, which you now pay in the form of GST only. Right? So earlier it was service tax, now it is a part of GST, now all of them are combined. So the point I am trying to say, listen carefully all of you please, listen carefully. They have kept their road open, they don't want to block the road of taxes. They know that in future there will be need of money and we need to bring new taxes. We need to impose new taxes, new duties. What to do? Keep one general entry open. Entry number 97, residuary entry. Any matters which are not enumerated above will be getting taxed through entry number 97. It will give the power to the government of India to bring what? New taxation laws. So let me tell you, service tax law, which was brought in what? 1994. Service tax was brought in 1994. There was no separate entry in the constitution. It was governed through entry number 97. There was no separate entry. What government thought? Why they have not brought a separate entry? Let me tell you. And what are the consequences of that? In 1994, Dr. Manmohan Singh introduced the concept of service tax for the first time. Before that, services were not subject to tax. Only goods were subject to tax. It means if a goods is imported, you have to pay tax. If a goods is manufactured, you have to pay duty. If a goods is sold, you have to pay sales tax. Did you understand these three taxes on goods? If a goods is imported, you have to pay import duty. If a goods is manufactured, you have to pay excise duty. And if a goods is sold, you have to pay sales tax. Is it clear? But Manmohan Singh thought that why all burden on only goods? Why not services also? Services is also a booming sector. So initially he imposed taxes on service tax only on 3 services initially in 1994. So he thought that, listen carefully, the mentality of the government. He thought that just to impose taxes on 3 services, which is not a very big thing. Why should we change the entire constitution first and then make a separate law for service tax? Forget about all those things. We will follow that procedure, because let me tell you, it is not that easy to change a constitution, please. In the last 10 years, the constitution has been changed just twice. Just twice. Once for GST and once for Jammu and Kashmir. That's it. Just twice it has been changed. Because to change a constitution, you need 3/4 majority in the parliament, which is not that easy. Which is not that easy. Even a Modi government, which is such a strong government in today's time, when it comes to politically, they do not have 3/4 majority in the parliament. They have to take the support of other parties if they want to change the constitution. So you might be knowing, you might be kids at that time, I think so, when GST came into picture, right? You might be in college, 11th, 12th, etc. Somewhere around that, right? So you are not aware much about that, what is happening. GST is coming, let it come. So whether it is not coming, why are we interested in that? But what used to happen at that time in 2017, when GST was coming, the government of India had to take the support from opposition also. Otherwise, it couldn't have come. They have to take the support of the state governments also. Otherwise, it couldn't have come. Because they have to change the constitution. They changed constitution in September 2016. And in July 2017, they brought what? They brought the GST law. So in 1994, what was the mentality of Manmohan Singh? He thought that we want to bring service tax. It's a new law. It's a new baby. Why to put so much effort on that? Forget about it. Let's bring it through what? This residuary entry. Who will change the constitution for service tax? Who will do all those things? So they never changed the constitution for service tax. Service tax was always governed through what? Entry number 97 only. And whatever laws are governed through entry number 97, for that, listen carefully. In future also it will help you. There will never be a separate law for that particular thing. Like service tax were imposed, but there was no separate law for service tax. There was no act for service tax. Then through which act it was governed? When it was introduced? In 94 budget? Right? Right? As I told you just now. Please answer. So after a budget, do you know that there is a finance act which comes? Yes or no? Even if you don't know, I'll be speaking about finance act today. But if you know, so whatever is said in budget, in 1994 budget, Manmohan Singh said that I am introducing service tax concept on 3 services. So he said that, and after 2 months they made a finance act 1994, and service tax became part of this finance act only. There is no separate act for service tax till 2017. Till the time it was scrapped. In 2017 everything was scrapped, right? Till the time GST was introduced, there was no separate law for service tax. Why? Because the government did not want to take a pain of making a separate law for such small things. Government will make laws for those things which are big. For those things, government will take a pain where they have to get some 15 lakh crore ka revenue or 20 lakh crore ka revenue, not on 50,000 or 60,000 crore ka revenue. They will not make separate laws for that. Let me ask you few more questions which you are aware of. Is there something called as health and education cess? Everyone is aware of, right? Is there everyone aware of securities transaction tax? Are you aware? Is that also a tax? The name itself says that, security transaction tax. Whose revenue it is? Central government or state government? It is imposed on purchase and sale of equity shares, right? In the stock market. A very small amount, but it is imposed. That is small amount for us. Think about the government. How much trading is happening on a daily basis, right? It will be a revenue of crores of rupees every day for the government, right? Agreed or not? So my question to you all is, that is a central government revenue. Whose revenue? Which is the act for that? Where are they imposing this? Under which section? Under which act? Do you think there will be a separate entry for STT? What do you think? Is it such a big law? Is it such a big tax? What do you think? Will there be a separate entry for STT also? Answer as per your common sense. Definitely it is not that. It is imposed through residuary entry. There is no separate entry for STT. One more tax I will speak about. There is something called as commodity transaction tax. Have you heard about it? If you trade in commodity, MCX, the way you trade in stocks and mutual funds, you have to pay STT. Similarly, if you trade in commodity, you have to pay CTT, commodity transaction tax. That is also a central government revenue. Where is the entry? Will the government start to amend constitution for such small things? The answer is no. They will impose through residuary entry, beta. The residuary entry will take care of those things. And whatever taxes will come through residuary entry, there will never be a separate act for that. There will always be a relevant Finance Act. So Finance Act 2003 imposed what? STT. Because it was introduced in 2003. Similarly, Finance Act 2018 or 19, either of the 2 years, imposed health and education SAS because it was introduced in 2018. So whatever new small taxes will come in future, believe me, government is not going to take the pain of amending the constitution for such small things. They will impose such things from residuary entry only. Yes, if they want to bring some big law, some reformation wala law, some big law like GST, which will bring reform in taxation, then they will take the pain of amending the constitution. Okay. Coming to the second list, state list. State list, there is only specific entry. There is no residuary entry in state list. No residuary entry. Residuary entry is only in the union list. Please tell me help me with some taxes which are imposed by state list. Even today. Please tell. VAT? VAT is imposed today also? Yes? Really? On what items? Yes, on liquor. On petrol. Right? Okay, VAT is imposed by state authority. What else? Any other taxes or duties? Municipal taxes are not imposed by state government. It is imposed by local authorities. Like if you stay in Mumbai, then it is BMC. Okay, that is not state government. That is a local authority. That is a different criteria. We'll talk about that sometime later. Can I say stamp duty on purchase of flats, properties? Right? That goes to the state government. Agreed? Right. Similarly, there are some taxes and duties which are shared by both of them, like octroi duty, which was there earlier, not much relevant after GST. What was octroi duty? When you used to travel from one state to another state, at the border of the state, you have to pay octroi duty because of the difference in VAT. Because of the difference in what? VAT. Suppose in Gujarat, the VAT is 15%, and in Maharashtra, the VAT is 18%. So when you go from one state to another state, you have to pay 3% VAT. That is known as octroi duty. Now, because of GST, the role of this has reduced. Because for GST, the rates are uniform across the country, right? Right. Earlier, under the VAT laws, it was different. Now, VAT laws are applicable only for few products, like alcoholic products, alcohol for human consumption, or petrol, etc. Nothing else is subject to VAT. That's the reason still today the petrol prices differ from state to state, right? In Mumbai, if you come, the most expensive one. If you go to Delhi, it is slightly cheaper. There is a difference of around 10 to 12 rupees between Delhi and Mumbai when it comes to petrol and diesel. Because different state government impose different kind of taxes. So this is how the government gets the power. Do not ever say that the government has absolute power to impose taxes. No. The government does not have absolute power to impose taxes. The government can impose taxes only if the constitution gives the power. And constitution can give two powers. One is specific power, one is general power. If there is a specific power, you make a specific law like income tax law, like customs law, like GST law, and you have absolute powers in that. But if there is a general power, you will not be able to make a separate law. You have to be governed through what? The relevant Finance Act only. Like for health and education says, there is no separate law, relevant Finance Act. Like for STT, there is no separate law, relevant Finance Act. Similarly for commodity transaction tax, there is no separate law, relevant Finance Act. Earlier for service tax law, such a big thing, there was no separate law for that also. Relevant Finance Act will take care of service tax issues. There was no separate law. Now I have a question to you all. Once the government gets the power from the constitution, what will be the next step of the government? Now the central government knows that we have the power. What will be the next step? To make a law. No. Before that, you have to work on the act. You have the power. That does not mean the act is ready. That you will go to parliament and introduce. It's not like that, Gopi. You have to first of all do what? Make a what? Draft. You have to set up what? Committees. Right? To make draft. The government will assign responsibility to certain committees that you have to make draft laws. Will those draft laws will be put up in front of public? Will be put up in front of the citizens like us for discussion? What do you think? Was GST law put up in front of the citizens of this country for discussion? Absolutely yes. You and me are going to bear the burden of tax. Government is not going to bear the burden. For every new tax which they will bring, they will put up in front of public forum, and public will give their recommendations. Public will include general public also, like you and me, and public will include different institutions also. Like RBI will give their recommendations, like ICAI will give their recommendations, like other institutions will give their recommendations, like corporates will give their recommendations. It is going to be borne by these people only now, ultimately, including all of us, 140 crore people. So the recommendations have to be taken from the people of this country. So they will take recommendation from every one of us. And if they find some recommendation good, they will implement it. And then they will do what? They will make a law. And how they will make a law? Now we will come to parliament. This is the process to make every law, not only taxation law. Now we will come to parliament. And in parliament, which is obviously in Delhi, there are two houses, right? You should be knowing little bit about political. You should have little bit political knowledge. You go and give a vote. You don't know anything about that. Anything beyond that. Now let me test some political knowledge of yours. Okay, you all are major now. You are eligible for voting. You should know the political structure of this country. Which two houses are there in the parliament? Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. Lok Sabha is also called as lower house. Rajya Sabha is also called as upper house. As Gopi Chand said, sir, we have to put this draft in the parliament, right? Gopi, you only said. Where will I go first? Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha? Or I can go anywhere. First, I'll go Rajya Sabha. Okay. Anybody else? And then Lok Sabha, Gopi? Sure. Think on it. Where will I go first? Kajal, say beta. Your voice is not coming. Anybody else? Where will I go first? Bhavisha. Lok Sabha first? First Lok Sabha, then Rajya Sabha. The answer is yes. First year and then second year. Now my question to you all is, why so? In Hindi we say, क्या ही फर्क पड़ जाएगा? Why so? What difference will it make? Why first Lok Sabha and then Rajya Sabha? There has to be some reason for that. First question. Second question. For every law, are they supposed to follow this particular order? Or there are some laws for which they go first year and then second year? These are the two questions which I am raising in front of all of us. So we have to answer these two questions now. First question, why first Lok Sabha and then Rajya Sabha? You are correct. First Lok Sabha, then Rajya Sabha for income tax law. The question is counter question. Why? Second counter question. Is this a standard practice? That first Lok Sabha and then Rajya Sabha, or there are some exceptions where the government will go first to Rajya Sabha and then Lok Sabha? So let me answer both the questions. Okay, I am only answering. I am not asking you. I am not testing your political knowledge over here. But I'll at least test this much, that what is Lok Sabha? Please tell. Okay. 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 Let me tell you, all of you, please listen carefully. Gopi, your video is off. Lok Sabha is one where we elect. We elect them. How many of you have voted in 2019? 2019? Were you major? No. Some of you were not 18, I guess, in 2019. Okay, you might have not voted. 2024, I guess all of you will vote, right? Which election I am talking about? The central election. I am not talking about the state election. That might differ from state to state. I am talking about the central election. So 2024, you all will be voting. Okay, that is the assumption which I am making over here. Okay. So you'll be voting for a person who is standing from your area, right? Right or not? And that person will be called as what? Please tell. What will be the designation of that person to whom you will be voting? Not MLA. That will be MP. That will be what? Member of what? Parliament. Okay. And there are in all how many member of parliament? There are in all 543 member of parliaments. Okay. Let me tell you properly. Out of that, you need to win at least 272. A party which wins 272 is the winner. The prime minister will be out of that party. Okay. Which currently is BJP. Now let me tell you. Who has selected these 272 people? Who has selected? Can I say the people of this country? They are elected representative in the parliament. Every parliament member of parliament will represent his area in the parliament. Is he responsible for us, for our development? Please answer. If tomorrow something wrong happens in our area, we will not go to Modi ji. We will tell to our elected representative, right? And he will take the matter till upward. So these are the people who sit in Lok Sabha are the one to whom we have selected. We means the people of this country. 140 crore people are selected, 543 people as their elected representative. Now listen carefully. After these people are selected, okay, after these 543 people are selected from different parties, right? An election happens between these people. Between these people, an election happens. And every party will send some people to Rajya Sabha. For that, these 543 people will be voting. You and me will not vote for Rajya Sabha members. For Rajya Sabha members, who will vote? To whom we have chosen. Did you understand what I said? So there will be an internal election between the member of parliaments. Let me ask you some questions now. Do you know that Jaya Bahaduri, you might be knowing her name, Jaya Bahaduri, Amitabh Bachchan's wife. She is a member of parliament. Do you know that? Do you know that? From which area she has fought the election? If you stay in Mumbai, she stays in Juhu, right? Do you think she has fought election from Juhu? Have you heard about it? No, because she is not a Lok Sabha member. She is a Rajya Sabha member and the elected member has chosen her and sent to parliament. Do you know that Sachin Tendulkar was also a member of parliament? Do you know that Rekha was also a member of parliament? Do you know that fraud Vijay Mallya was also a member of parliament? He was also a member of parliament. Do you know that the owner of ZTV, Subhash Chandran, ZTV owner, Subhash Chandran, he is also a member of parliament? There are so many members of parliament who have not fought election in front of public, but they have been sent by the parties by fighting election within themselves. So here the people who will come are not directly elected by people. These are elected by the elected members. Okay. So the logic being that why income tax should first go to lower house and then upper house, the logic is income tax is a matter which affects every citizen of this country? Please answer. Can I say income tax? Income tax is a revenue matter? Please answer. Will it affect your pocket? GST, will it affect the pocket of every citizen of this country? Right? So it should first go to those people to whom we have elected. This being the logic. Is it going to affect every citizen of this country who have elected them? Right? So it should first go to those people to whom we have elected. Let them first decide whether it should be passed or not. Once they decide, this will be a formality. But there are not only taxation laws which are introduced in the country. There are other laws also which are called as non-revenue matters. Non-revenue matters might not impact every citizen of this country. Like I will ask you company law. Please answer honestly. Is company law going to affect every citizen of this country? If there are some amendments in company law tomorrow? Or will it only affect companies? Right? It will not affect everyone, right? So why to unnecessarily trouble 140 crore people first of all? That's the reason non-revenue matter first go to Rajya Sabha. Non-revenue matter first go to which house? The upper house, the Rajya Sabha. And then it goes to what? Then it goes to lower house. In future also, if any taxation law will come, will it affect every citizen of this country? Taxation law will come. Will it affect every citizen of this country? You can observe that it will go to Lok Sabha and then Rajya Sabha. And non-taxation matter, that is non-revenue matter, will go to first what? Rajya Sabha and then Lok Sabha, because people are not much interested in that. Come to us later. People are much interested in money, taxation laws. So when it comes to taxation law, it will follow the order of Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. Other non-taxation matter, Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha. This is the logic for every law in this country. You should be knowing about this as a student of this country. You are a student of this country. You are a student of CA course. Being a legal course where most of the subjects are related to law, right? There are so many laws which you are studying, beta. Taxation law is a law, direct and indirect both. In indirect tax, there are multiple laws like GST, IGST, CGST, customs law, right? In law, unfortunately, you are reading right now law also, which future students might not read. But in law also, you have to read multiple laws like corporate laws, like SEBI laws, like FEMA laws, I don't know, like PMLA, prevention of money laundering. These are also laws, right? So you should be aware of all these things. Ab Bhavisha, ye sab likha hai book mein beta. Okay, don't worry. I'll be reading right now. You may not write all these things. If you need, you can take a photograph later. Okay, I'll give you that. So this is how the legal structure of this country goes. Okay. So now let us talk about only income tax now. I had to give you this brief idea about the structure of the law, which I have given. I'll be speaking now only about income tax law. I have spoken a lot about other laws. Listen carefully now. So now, central government need to have power, right, to make a law. So from where they get the power to make income tax law? Which entry? Entry number 82. And they can impose income tax on what? Any income except agricultural income, right? Once they get the power, the next thing which they have to do is to make a draft, take recommendations, etc., take multiple drafts, make multiple drafts. And then after the draft is made, they have to do what? They have to put in parliament, right? Once it is put in parliament, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, then there is one mere formality which has to be done, that you have to take the approval of what? President of India, right? Some of the time we take some work from president here. Otherwise, president is free most of the time. Okay. President will be useful in this country. It's like a puppet of the government. It is useful to sign certain laws, that this I approve this law, or it is useful to give Padma Shri and Padma Vibhushan and Bharat Ratna. I don't think so any other work I have seen to be done by president in India ever. These are the few things which president do in this country. Okay. Otherwise, maximum powers are with whom? With the prime minister. Maximum 99% of the powers are with the prime minister only. Okay. So now, the parliament is over, the constitution is over, the sessions in the parliament is over, right? President formality is over, the act is ready. Which act? What is the name of this act? The Income Tax Act 1961. Okay. So let me ask you one question now. What do you think when this law came in India for the first time? You will say, what funny question you are asking, sir? It's written 1961. I will not ask such questions. Don't worry about it. My questions will be not as simple as this. Then the answers will be on the board only. Please tell me, when did income tax law come in India for the first time? Let me ask you a simple question. When did indirect tax laws comes in India? Will you say 2017? Will you say 2017? Please. When did company law come in India? Will you say 2013? In 2013, it was changed. It did not come. It came in 1956, right? Company law. Similarly, when did income tax law come? Please answer. What do you think? When did it come? Do you think that at the time of independence in 1947, income tax law was there? No idea, sir. What, Julie? There was Income Tax Act in 1947 also. Gopishan, you are saying something? Please say. Bhavisha, you are saying something, beta? No idea? When did income tax law came for the first time? Let me tell you. It came for the first time in India in 1860. That was in undivided India, which includes Pakistan, Bangladesh, etc. everyone. Then it got changed and it came in 1874. It was changed in 1874. Then 1884. Then 1886. Then for a very long time it did not got changed. In 1918 it got changed. Then in 1922, which was known as the Indian Income Tax Act 1922. This was the name of that law. And then ultimately in 1961, and now it has been 71 years. Unfortunately, the building has become very old and it is not changed. For the past 71 years, what we are doing? We are doing repair to the building. Right? The building of company law was also old. So we demolished that building and we made new building in 2013. Right? The building of indirect taxes were also old. So we demolished that building of indirect taxes and brought new taxes in 2017 in the form of GST. Right? But unfortunately, the building of income tax law is very old. It has become senior citizen, 71-year-old. But there is no hope in the near future also of bringing what? A new law. You as a student will say, please sir, don't speak such things. At least for the next few attempts. That there will be a change in the income tax law. Please don't trouble us. It is not going to change for the next 5 to 10 years at least. But let me tell you one thing. As a CA student, you should be knowing that the government has already made a proposal of changing direct tax laws. Let me tell you. Before pre-COVID only they have said it. But then COVID came and there are a lot of laws which were kept on hold. Like CAA was kept on hold, NRC was kept on hold, right? Because of the COVID situation. So the government has already made a committee of 6 members, whereby the 6 members have been given a task to tell the government that how the new income tax law would be beneficial to the government. And what are the changes that can be made? So the committee is already working on it. It's not that it is not going to come. But let me tell you, it's not that easy to bring a new law. Do you know that when was GST proposed initially? Do you know? In 2003. 2003. Right, Vinita. Right. So in 2003, GST was proposed. When it came? 2017, 14 years later. So now they have just proposed. Okay. I think so your kids might learn about it. Okay. About the new income tax law. You will not learn. It might be the case where your kids have to learn about the new income tax law. So it will take at least 10 to 15 years. Even if we consider that the government is very fast, they are doing everything very fast, still it will take at least 10 years, not before that. Because now, right now, not even a draft is ready of the new income tax law. There is just a committee which has been assigned the duty to identify what will be the benefits of making a new law. Because to make a new law, there is a cost which is involved. Let me tell you very clearly. The government has to incur a lot of administration costs to make a new law. It's not that easy. You might be knowing when the GST came initially, it was so much problematic to the citizens of this country. There were no proper systems. There were no proper clarifications. So initially 1 or 2 years were very, very hectic for all the citizens of this country when GST law came. Even today, we are not clear with a lot of things in GST. Even today, after 5 years. So it's not that everything comes with a cost. So government has to do a cost benefit analysis. Ultimately, they have to do a business over here. So if we are incurring so much cost, will we get that extra revenue from the citizens of this country? If yes, then let's go for the new law, or else forget. Let's make a repair to the existing building itself. Let's do renovation to this itself till the time it falls. Till the time it falls down. Let's wait for the law to fall down on the ground. At that time, we will do what? We will do a new law. Till then, let's make amendments. Do you know that there are around 7,500 amendments which has been made in income tax law in the last 70 years? 7,500 amendments. Every year, on an average, 70 to 80 to 100 amendments are there in the income tax law. Every year. That I'm only talking about the Finance Act. During 365 days, CBDT does not have any other work. CBDT, you might be knowing, right? CBDT, the Central Board of Direct Tax, they do not have any other work in this world. They keep on issuing circulars and notification every day. Some or the other circular, some or the other notification will come every day on their website. That I'm not counting also. If I start to count that, then there will be lakhs of amendments. I'm just talking about the amendments which are made in the parliament in the form of what? The relevant Finance Act. So there are a lot of things which are there in income tax law. Nobody can say that I am an expert of income tax law in this country. If you want to become an expert of income tax law, first of all, read all the sections of income tax law, which are around 700 to 800 sections. Read all of them. Second thing, read there are more than 1 lakh case laws of High Court and Supreme Court and Tribunal. Read all of them. And there are more than 1 lakh circulars and notification. Read all of them. Still, you cannot say that you are an expert of income tax law. Still, there will be something which will be missed. There will be some opinion which will be given by some person which you cannot find out in all these things. It's so dynamic. It's so diverse law. It's not like GST. GST is a very, very new law. There will be not much case laws which you will find on that. There will be not much of GST notification which you will find. You have a backlog of 5 years, right? You have a backlog of 71 years over here. What has happened in the last 71 years? In practical life, everything might be relevant. In exam, might not be relevant. In exam, what is relevant is what is the current position. But in practical life, what is the past position also has to be understood by one practitioner. So it's a very dynamic subject, very diverse subject. But don't be under an impression that it came in 1961. Never. It came in 1860 for the first time. Multiple changes were made. Multiple time people revolted against that. At that time, people used to revolt against every policy of the government, right? Because this was obviously brought by a British viceroy. It was not brought by Indian government, obviously. Right or not? It was brought by British viceroy. And till here, everything was brought by the British government itself. Then in 1947, we got independence, right? And then we thought after 14 years, let's make our own law, yaar. Why to depend on their law? So in 1961, so if you open the income tax law, when we got independence, 1947. When our constitution was made, 1949. Do you know that? Our constitution was made on 26th of November, 1949. And it was published on 26th of January, 1950. This is the reason we celebrate Republic Day. And we take holiday on that day. We should know why we are taking holiday. We should be aware of that particular event. So, in 1950, 26 Jan, it became officially, India became India on 26th of Jan, 1950. Okay. So, if you open the income tax law, you will find out on the first line of the act in practical life. If you have a hard copy of act, hard copy, you will find on the first line of the act that this is the 12th year of Republic. Which year? In the 12th year of Republic, we are bringing a new law. That is 1961. This is the 12th year of Republic from 1949 to 1961. Okay. So, now I have a question to you all. And the question is, in income tax law, there are how many sections? So, there are how many sections under the income tax law? I will only speak about it. I will speak, don't worry. How is the income tax law drafted? Listen carefully. Do not always speak about sections first. An act is first of all drafted into chapters. It is drafted into various chapters. Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3, Chapter 4, Chapter 5. It is drafted like that. It is not directly starting from a section. So, income tax law is divided into 23 chapters. There are 23 chapters in income tax law. You might have heard about one famous chapter, that is Chapter 6A, right? Deductions under 80C to 80U, right? Which talks about deductions from your gross total income under the income tax law. So why they have divided the chapters into 23 chapters? Because it doesn't look good otherwise. It will not be easy for the taxpayers and the tax practitioners to search a particular thing without proper classification of chapters. If I have to search where are the computation, I will go to a particular chapter and see this is the computation. If I want to see where are the TDS provisions, so I will go to a particular chapter and I will see, yes, here there are all TDS provisions, right? If I want to see where are the set off and carry forward provisions, so I will go to one particular chapter, chapter 6, where all the set off and carry forward provisions are there. Let me ask you one question. If I make a book and give you without any index and without any chapter, will it not be confusing for all of us? So the same way for the taxpayer, the act has to be divided into various chapters. Whichever chapter is relevant for you, open that and read that particular chapter and solve your problem. So there are 23 chapters under income tax law. In that there are sections. There are how many sections, sir? There are 298 main sections. Main. When I say main section, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like this, there are 298. Okay? And within that, there might be subsection, there might be clauses, there might be sub-clauses, etc., etc., etc. That is a different thing. Okay? That is a different thing. There might be lot of things within that. So there are subsections, there are sub-clause, etc., etc., etc. Okay? We'll learn about that over the time. Now, this is the structure of the act. Within act, there will be one section which will be saying that the central government has the power to make what? Rules. So within act, there will be one section which will tell the central government can make also rules under the income tax law. And that is section 295 under the Income Tax Act. So section 295 of Income Tax Act gives the power to the central government to make rules relating to income tax. So there is one income tax rules also. Okay. Like there are rules under GST laws, there are rules under income tax law as well. So what is the name of that rule? The name of this rule is Income Tax Rules 1962. What? Income Tax Rules 1962. So who make rules? Please answer. Who make rules? Central government. From where they get the power? From the act itself. From the act itself. So learn the hierarchy now. Try to understand the hierarchy. To make a law, the power is received from the Constitution of India, right? Right. And the law is made in Parliament, means it is passed in Parliament. Lower house, upper house. And to make a rule, the rule is available, the power of rule is available from where? From law, that is from the act. And who will make the rules? Rules will be made by central government. You do not have to go to Parliament. There is no need to go to Parliament. The rule can be made outside the Parliament in the office of the government. It is made by CBDT, central government, etc., whatever you want to say. Okay. So this is the hierarchical structure of who will make what. The law will be made by the Parliament through the powers of Constitution, and the rule will be made by the government itself through the powers of the Act. Okay. So between the law and the rule, who is bigger? If there is a conflict between both of them, who will prevail over whom? Law will always prevail over the rule if there is a conflict. First of all, there should not be any conflict. In case we are humans here, ultimately we are humans, we can make error. What do you think? Income tax law is 100% error proof? It's not like that. There are errors in income tax law which we will be speaking about in our lectures. Through the Bare Act, I'll show you the Bare Act exactly where the error is. This is the mistake in the law. And some of the mistakes are silliest mistakes under the income tax law. You will not imagine also a government of this stature can make such mistakes also. These mistakes cannot be made by a student also, which the government is making. We'll be speaking about all of them. Okay. So now we will start with our act, that is the Income Tax Act. Obviously, we are learning the Income Tax Act 1961, not the older one, but we are learning the updated one. Updated as per which Finance Act? Finance Act 2022. Okay. So my next question to all of you is, what is the first section of every act? I am not asking of Income Tax Act, of every act I am asking. What is the first section of every act? What, Gopi? Name. Okay. Okay, I agree. Apart from the name, Is there anything apart from the name in the first section? Yes, काजल, काजल आवाज नहीं आ रही आपकी. Okay, so Gopi Chand has answered two things to me: the name, the applicability. What else? No, it doesn't talk about to whom it is applicable. It talks about name, it talks about applicability, and it talks about commencement, from when this law is commenced. So I will write the correct technical terms which are used by the law. The first one is, the law used the word short title. What will you say this law as in short title? That will be written in the first section. Second, extent and applicability, and third is commencement. So what will you call this law henceforth as? You will call this law as this. This law may be called as the Income Tax Act 1961. That's it. Full stop. This is the name of this law throughout this subject. Okay. This is over. Commencement. This law is applicable from 1/4/1962. From when it is applicable? 1/4/1962. You will say that the law has come in 1961. Then why it is applicable from 1962? Because this talks about from AY 62-63. And when I say AY 62-63, it means PY what? You might be knowing little bit about AY and PY. PY 61-62. So this act is applicable from 1st of April 1962, means AY 62-63, PY 61-62. Is it clear to all of you? Now coming to the first one, short title. The short title is, this act may be called as the Income Tax Act 1961. Now the question is, if the short title is this, then what is the long title? If you are saying this is the short title, then there has to be some long name, na? Should it be there or not? Please answer, all of you. Should it be there or not? I am just asking you yes or no. If I am saying my short name is, say, Sonu, example, it's not like that, please. For example, then my long name has to be there, na? Every short name has to have a long name. Right or not? So what is the real name of this law? If the short name is so long, Income Tax Act 1961 is the short name. Then what is the real name? The real name of this law is written on the first page of the act. If you open the income tax law, if you go to office today, go to office and open the Income Tax Act, you will see on the first page. So what's the real name? The real name is, I am saying, listen carefully, an act to consolidate a law relating to income tax and super tax. Full stop. This is the real name of this law. I am again repeating. An act to consolidate a law relating to income tax and super tax. Super tax was one of the concepts which was imposed earlier. Now it is not there. It was a kind of surcharge. Now it is there in the form of surcharge, right? Surcharge is there or not? Surcharge, which is imposed on assessees who earn more income, more than 50 lakhs, right? Exact threshold I'll speak later on whenever we'll see tax rates. I'm not explaining the provisions as of now. I've not started with any section as of now. So this is the real name. An act to consolidate a law relating to income tax and super tax. Now I don't have that much time to say such big sentence again and again. So I'll be using what? The Income Tax Act 1961. Henceforth, I'll be using this act. What? This act. This act, if I say, this act means Income Tax Act. Okay? I may not have to say the entire name and again and again. Second, which I have said you just now, that the commencement will be from 1st of April 1962. That is AY 62-63, PY 61-62. Okay? Now the third one and the big one. Big one. Extent and applicability. What do you think? Where it is applicable? Whole of India? Whole of India. Whole of India. What do you mean by whole of India? Is it also applicable to Jammu and Kashmir? Please answer, all of you. Is it also applicable on Jammu and Kashmir? What do you think? Everyone, sure. Was it applicable to Jammu and Kashmir earlier also? So from when it is applicable? Let's see. Test this knowledge. After Article 370 got removed. Really? Article 370 got removed in 2019. Okay. So what about 2018? Was income tax applicable to JNK in 2018? In 2017? In 2016? In 2015? In 2014? 13, 12, 11, 10? What about those years? Please answer. Please answer. This JNK mystery has to be solved. Right or not? As a student, you should know the history of this JNK. It should not be restricted to only news channels. That you are listening something about JNK on news channel and you are forgetting about it, you don't know anything about it. Please answer. Was it applicable in 2018 income tax? 2017? Most of you are saying yes. No. Yes. What you are saying? I don't know. Some of you are saying yes. Some of you are saying no. What is the majority? Gopichan, was it applicable? It was not applicable in 2018, Gopi? Okay. भाविशा नहीं बोल रही है तू भी नॉट एप्लीकेबल काजल नॉट एप्लीकेबल सब लोग नॉट एप्लीकेबल बोल रहे हैं ठीक है इट वाज एप्लीकेबल ओके let me tell you the history of this JNK first of all okay then I'll come to India when India got independence in 1947 okay are you aware that before 1947 every area was governed by a raja a king right every area was governed by a king for every area there was a king in 1947 when India got independence so Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru asked JNK and all other states also Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru asked Maharashtra asked Punjab asked Rajasthan asked Uttar Pradesh everyone that become part of what become part of India become part of what part of India everybody ready to become part of India everybody was very very energetic because we got a new independence okay let's make a new India etc etc everybody was very energetic very enthusiastic but JNK said that we do not want to be part of India JNK said that we do not want to be part of Pakistan also. We do not want to be part of India as well as Pakistan. We do not want to be part of both the countries. We want to be a separate country in ourselves. So Indian government said them that do you know the disadvantages of being a separate country? If you are a separate country, from where you will get the resources? How will you run your country? Be a part of India and we will take care of you. So Jammu and Kashmir people said that we will not be part of India because if we become a part of India, then you will start to impose different kind of taxes from Delhi. You will sit in Delhi and make amendment for us. You will impose different kind of taxes on us. And we don't want to bear all kind of taxes. We don't have money as of now. Because we have just got independence, everything is lost now. We don't have anything now to give you. So Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru made a commitment to JNK that I promise you that we will not impose any taxes on the state of JNK unless the people of JNK agrees to it. So if the people of JNK agrees, then only we will impose tax. Otherwise, we will not impose tax. This is the promise which was made by the Congress party at that time to the people of JNK. JNK people said that political promises are of no use. Okay? They are meant to be broken. Right? So Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru said that I am not just saying with my tongue. I am not just saying with my tongue. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru said that I am putting one article for you all in our constitution. Okay, now will you agree? Now will you have a faith on us? We are putting one article for you all in the state of in our constitution, in our Indian constitution. And what is that article? Article 370. And what does Article 370 have to say? No law can be imposed in the state of JNK unless with the authority of the state government. Unless the state government approves, a JNK law will not be imposed in JNK. Now, what used to happen after this? So, JNK people agreed to this. Yes, if you are making an amendment in the constitution for us specifically, then we agree to you. Otherwise, we are not agreeing you. So, they agreed. And then, JNK was also part of India. Obviously, even today it is part of India. And it will remain forever. So, JNK became part of India. Now in 1961, what happened? Income tax law came, right? New income tax law. All the same process. First it will go to Lok Sabha, then Rajya Sabha. Once it goes to Lok Sabha and then Rajya Sabha, the act is applicable in the entire country. In Maharashtra, it is applicable. In Delhi, it is applicable. In Punjab, it is applicable. In Gujarat, it is applicable. But in J&K, it is not applicable. For J&K, you have to fulfill one more formality. What is that formality? You have to go to the J&K state government and pass a law in the state assembly. So for that, for J&K, you have to pass two laws. One in the center and one in the state. And unless the state government agrees, the law cannot be made applicable. That is the power of Article 370, which was enjoyed by the people of J&K for around 65 to 70 years. So, Government of India asked J&K people, J&K government, will you be paying income tax? They said, yes, we will be paying income tax. We want to pay income tax. We are a part of this country and we want to pay income tax. Listen carefully the entire story. So, income tax is applicable in J&K. Please, it was applicable earlier also when Article 370 was not abolished. Today, obviously, it is applicable. Today, J&K is like any other state. Further, today, it is not a state also. It is a union territory now. It is under the control of central government now. And it has been divided into two states now, Leh, Ladakh and J&K, right? You might be aware of about these political divisions. So, everything was very smooth. In 1962, customs law came, right? So, again, the parliament passed the law in Delhi and again they went to J&K. J&K people said that, yes, we will pay custom duties. So, customs law is applicable in J&K also since 1962. Even excise law was applicable in J&K since 1954. So, excise was applicable, customs was applicable, and even what? Income tax was applicable in J&K. And J&K people has contributed to all these things. Let's go ahead in time. 1965, 1970, 1970s. In 1970s, listen carefully. What happened? In 1970s, what happened? Indira Gandhi. What Indira Gandhi did? In 1970s, Indira Gandhi divided Pakistan into two parts. Which two parts? Please answer. Gopichan, you are saying something? Yes. That is into East Pakistan and West Pakistan. When in mid 1970s. Why? What is East Pakistan and West Pakistan? When partition was done, so we gave Pakistan to Pakistan. One is the existing Pakistan, which is called as West Pakistan. And another is Bangladesh. Bangladesh was Pakistan earlier. Are you aware of that? काजल को कुछ नहीं पता है, हर चीज के लिए ऐसे करती है. So, West Pakistan is the current Pakistan. If you see on our map, it comes on the west, right? Pakistan comes on the west, na? Gopi. And Bangladesh comes on the east. So that Bangladesh was also Pakistan earlier. It was a part of Pakistan. But then Indira Gandhi understood that if there is a Pakistan here also, there is a Pakistan here also, they will try to attack from both the sides to us, right? Let's break one of the parts. So she provoked the people of Bangladesh that why don't you become a separate country? Why you have to depend on the West Pakistan? West Pakistan government favor only West Pakistan people. They do not favor you all. So why don't you become a separate country? She provoked those people. And she said that fight with your military. I will give you Indian military to fight with them. So she gave our military to Bangladesh people to fight against Pakistan military. And they fought against them and they made a separate country, Bangladesh, in 1970s. So Bangladesh came into existence after that. Okay? Now obviously the West Pakistan people will be agreed with that. Right? Because there was one of the wing of that has been cut off. So they are very aggrieved. So they started with terrorist activity and all those things post that. Earlier it was not that. In one or two times in 10 years we used to fight. It was not like a daily activity like these days. These days we fight every day. It was not like that earlier. Once in 10 years, we used to fight with China also. Once in 10 years, we used to fight with Pakistan also. A legal war used to happen. But now there is a war every day now. So the Pakistanis very agreed with that, and they started with all these hostile activities of terrorism, etc. All those things. Okay, and till 1990s, the things became extreme, and we became extreme enemies. Okay. Then our Dr. Manmohan Singh came in 1994 and said what in the parliament? What he said in parliament? That I want to bring what? Please tell. Bring what? Service tax? Right or not? Try to understand the history. I want to bring what? I want to bring service tax law. Again, that same process has to be followed. You have to go to J&K and ask J&K people. Right or not? What do you think? Will they agree now to the government of India? No, they will not agree now because they feel that the government of India has made the things hostile for them. If the government has not done all those things with Bangladesh, then this situation would have not come. They feel that. The government asked to the state government of J&K. The state government of J&K said that no, we don't want service tax. Please go from here. We don't want service tax, and service tax was not applicable in J&K. Let me tell you. Even till 2017, no ST in J&K, no ST, no service tax in J&K till 2017. Now let me explain you what the government has done over here. Now from 1st July 2017, we all know that what is going to come. GST will come, right? So again for GST, please tell me whether the government has to ask to the state of J&K. Please answer. So what they did, your mind will blow. Now what they did, listen carefully. In 2014, there is a BJP government over here, right? Obviously, who won by majority. Central government they made. And there is a state government in what? J&K, who was owned by Mehbooba Mufti. I don't know whether you have heard her name or not. Okay. Her party is known as PDP. This is the party name. Now Modi ji used to abuse her like anything. That this is the Deshdrohi, terrorism, etc. Whatever they are promoting all these things in J&K, etc. Okay. In 2014, because the government has to win the election. Okay. And they are the opposition over there in J&K. In 2016, there was an election in state government of J&K. Listen carefully, please. In J&K, there was a state government election in 2016. So BJP joined hands with PDP to win election over there. Okay. And they won. Now, Modi ji and Mehbooba Mufti ji are friends. Okay. In 2016, because there is a state election. Okay. Now what happened? After this is the history. You can go and vouch for it, please. And you can ask your parents if you want. They might be knowing about it if they are interested in what? If they are interested in politics. I am not interested in politics. I am interested in tax. Why government joined hands with PDP? Tell me, please. Why? Someone to whom you were abusing 2 years back. Because they want to get GST approved in J&K. Okay. So from 1st July 2017, GST came. Right? But initially it was not applicable in what? J&K. Then they passed a separate session in the J&K assembly. And then from September or October 2017, it was applicable in J&K. Okay. How it was possible? Because the state government itself is of the central government. Then only it is possible. Right? GST imposed. The service tax which was not imposed for the last 25 years. From 94 to 2017 got imposed in the state of J&K also. Please answer. Now in 2018, Modi ji broke this relationship. Okay. Again. Because again, government has to abuse in 2019. So that was a very small and sweet relationship for 2 years approximately, lesser than that also. The main intention of that was to get an approval of GST in the state of what? J&K. Did you understand? In this country, everything is related politically. If you don't understand politics in this country, you will not understand this country ever. You will not understand any move of the government ever if you don't understand politics. Very important it is to understand politics in this country. So, between that 1.5 year, the government was so close to the state government of J&K, they are a part of, they were a partner. Then the most funniest thing which happened is in 2019. Article 370 got removed. Okay, all these J&K leaders were shouting, right? And Modi ji put Mehbooba Mufti in jail for 9 months. She was in jail for 9 months. House arrest. House arrest. See what has happened. But in all these things, one good thing which has happened, that even J&K will pay GST now. Why the hell we will only bear all the expenses? The maximum amount of defense money is going on J&K only in today's time. Are 20 to 25% of the funds which government collects goes in defense. There are 13 lakh army to whom the government has to give salary. There are arms and ammunition which the government has to purchase every year. The government has to purchase different kind of aircrafts and all for the purpose of defense purpose. They have to be well equipped with the latest technologies in defense. Otherwise, the enemy countries will run on us. The enemies are also very dangerous. The God has chosen the enemy and put in around us. Like Pakistan, like you can say China. Two of the dangerous enemies which are there around us. So we have to be very well equipped with the defense things. And there's a lot of money which goes in that. The government needs money for that. Okay. So this is the story of what? J&K. So today, obviously, J&K, no law. No law has a separate word called as what? Including or what? Excluding J. Earlier it was there. In some law it was including. In income tax it was written including J&K. In custom law it was written including J&K. In excise law it was written including J&K. In service tax law it was written excluding J&K. But today that sentence itself is removed from the law. From all the laws, that sentence is removed. Which sentence? This act is applicable to whole of India. Bracket. That bracket is removed. Now there is only one sentence. This act is applicable to whole of what? Whole of what? India. So now the question will come. What do you mean by India? Okay. What is India? Please tell me. When I say India, what is India? Please tell me. What all things will come in India? Please answer. How many of you stay in Mumbai? भाविशा, वेनेता, काजल, तू तो यहीं रहती है पीछे मेरे. हाँ, घाटकोपर में रहती है ना. हाँ. So suppose this is the say map, rough map. ठीक है, Mumbai is somewhere over here. ठीक है. So once one fine day on a holiday we are going to say Juhu Beach. ठीक है. Where? Juhu Beach is somewhere over here, right? Right or not? Just after the landmass ends. Beach. Gopichand Beach. Where do you stay, Gopichand? Chennai? Bangalore. So I don't think so. There is a beach in Bangalore. It's not there, right? It's not connected with sea. Okay. But there is a beach in Chennai, definitely. Right? So if you go to beach, if you sail in boat, if you go to Goa, you sail in boat. Is that also India? Is that water body is also India? Till when? Till how much? 12? 12 nautical miles. Okay. So it has to be defined somewhere, na? It has to be documented somewhere that India means this. India means that. The definition of India is given in section 225A of the Income Tax Act 1961. What is India? India means, first of all, land mass of this country. Land mass. The huge land mass, which is around 32 lakh square kilometer. The huge land mass of India, including the land mass of the Union Territories of Lakshadweep and Andaman Nicobar. Okay, that is also part of India. Okay. These are some of the islands which belongs to Indian government. Okay. Now, apart from that, what is India? After the land ends, up to 12 nautical miles, this area is called as the territorial waters of India. What it is called as? This area is called as the territorial waters of India. Up to 12 nautical miles. This is also India. So whatever activity you will do over here will also be considered that you are doing where? Please tell me. You are doing in India. Are you clear? Like if you go to Goa, if you have ever been to Goa, you might see over there that in the beach, that in the sea, there are casinos over there. There are what? Casino in the beach, in the sea, between the sea. So are they not earning money? They are earning money. Are they not supposed to pay taxes in India? So if the water is not part of India, they will say that we are not in India. And they will escape from tax. They will say we are not doing business in India. We are doing out of India. India is land. India does not include water. Government says that India includes land, India includes water up to 12 nautical miles. Okay. Third, India also includes the air territory above us. Whatever is the air territory, that is also part of India, right? Are there some activities which are done in air also? Commercial activities like airline activities. Nowadays, there is also an advertisement activity which is done through what? Through airways. You inflate a balloon and you put it in the air. Yes or no? By writing the name of a product so that that balloon will roam in the entire city and that will advertise the company, right? You might have seen that balloons and all in IPL. If you see IPL in cricket match, that balloon will roam around above the ground and the camera will catch that particular moment. That will be seen by crores of people in this country, right? And the company will take advantage of that. That activity is done in air. So the air territory above this also is called as what? That is also called as what? India. So definition of India is very vast. Still there are few things which are covered. Let me come to that also. So India means obviously first of all the land mass of this country. Second, the territorial waters up to 12 nautical miles. Nautical miles is nothing but miles only. But when you count that in water, it is addressed as nautical miles. The distance is same only. The distance is not different. So up to 12 nautical miles. Water, which will start from your land. Where the land ends and water starts, from there 12 nautical miles will be counted. Okay. Gopichan, please, your volume. Somebody is crying. Okay. Then the air territory above these two is also India. Okay. Now let me ask you one more question. There are some very big activities which are done in water. Please tell me what. Some very big activities, commercial activities, which are done in sea, from which billions of dollars and billions of rupees are earned. Please, which is that activity? Fishing is one of the activity. I agree. Apart from fishing, what, Vinita? Oil refineries. Excellent. What do you feel? You will go to Juhu beach, put your leg in the water, you will get oil out of it. You will get. It's not that easy. You have to go deep inside the sea, very deep. Maybe around 70 miles, 80 miles, 100 miles away from the shore. Around 150 miles away from the shore. So, for example, around say 150 miles, nautical miles away from the shore, there is an oil rig. What? Oil rigs, which are installed by certain companies who try to what? Extract oil out of sea, all natural gas out of sea. So they will not be part of India, right? Because India includes land mass, 12 nautical miles and air territory about it. They are very far from the shore. So the government has defined the further part of India as exclusive economic zone. Exclusive economic zone up to what? Up to 200 nautical mile is also India. Now, what is the difference between this 12 mile and this 200 mile? You will say, if there is 12 mile, then why there is 200 mile? And if there is 200 mile, then why there is a 12 mile concept? Both are overlapping each other, right? The 12 mile is your area. It is yours. You do whatever you want to do over there. That is as good as extension of land. Just consider that as. That is as good as extension of the land. It means you can do whatever. That is a part of your country itself. You can think that like that. That wherever that beach ends, within that, after that beach, 12 nautical miles is part of that country. Whatever you do want, you can do fishing activity, you can do oil rig activity, you can put your submarines over there, you can make your navy people sit over there, you can do fighting over there, you can kill people, you can do whatever you want to there. That is your part country. That's it. After that, international water starts. What start? International water starts. So if you want to go to international water, that is beyond this, up to 200 nautical miles, you have to do exclusive economic activity. This is the reason it is called as EEZ. Economic activity means what? Paisa kamane wala activity, money earning activity. You are not supposed to go to 170 miles and do what? Submarine test or navy people test. You cannot keep your submarine at 150 nautical miles. That is not allowed. You can go and put an oil rig. That too, government will notify which activities to be done over here. Not all activities can be done. Government as of now has notified only one activity, and that is which is oil exploration or natural gas exploration. Nothing else is notified for as of now. So if you want to go beyond 12 miles and up to 200 miles, you can go, but only for the purpose of, only for the sake of what? Exploration of oil. Nothing else will be done over there. Is it clear to all of you? So up to 12 miles, you can do everything. You can put your navy people, you can put your submarine, you can test your arms and ammunition. All those things are allowed over there. But after 12 miles, up to 200 nautical miles, it is not allowed. Only exploration of mineral oils or exploration of natural gas, which is allowed. Nothing else is allowed. So this is what section 1 is all about. That is what, first of all, section 1 talks about what? Short title. Second, commencement. Third is extent and applicability, which I have said you just now. That it is applicable today even to J&K, and it is applicable to whole of India, and definition of India is something which I have told you just now. Okay. So now you can come to our book 1 and you can see that your first page of your discussion is now over. So we have done just one page. Yes. For last approximately 1.5 hours to 2 hours, I have given time for this one page only. So this is the pace at which we are going to go. Don't worry about it. Everything has to go right in your mind. Come to the first page of the first chapter, introduction and chargeability. Now whatever I have taught in today's lecture, you will find in the books. If whatever I teach, it is not there in the books, is of no use, because after 3 months nobody will remember my bhashan. What you will remember is what is written in the books, right? Nobody remembers what teacher says 5 months back on the day of exam. You only remember what is there in the books. So whatever I say has to be there in the same flow in the books, or else it's of no use. Or else it's like a movie. You have come to see, you have seen the movie, you are gone, you are not interested in remembering the story. It's not like that. You have to remember the story. So let's read this once, all of you, all of us together. Okay. Page number 1 of your textbook, number 1, 1.1. The Income Tax Act Introduction, Article 265 of the Constitution. No law can be made to impose duties and taxes unless the Constitution gives the power, right? In Schedule 7 of the Constitution, it is segregated into following 3 lists. Union list. Union list, this covers revenue as well as non-revenue matters. From entry 1 to entry 96 as what? Specific entries. And entry 97 to impose taxes and duties which are not enumerated in the above 96 entries. So this is a residuary entry. The Right to Make Income Tax Act comes from entry number 82, which states that income tax can be imposed by central government on any income except agricultural income. Underline that, except agricultural income. The above entries include both revenue as well as non-revenue matter. As far as the income tax is considered, it is a revenue matter, and therefore it should be first laid down in the lower house, that is Lok Sabha, and then the upper house, that is Rajya Sabha. State list, there are certain taxes like stamp duty, etc. State list does not have any residuary entry, as I have told you in the class, right? The residuary entry is only there in the union list. Therefore, any new taxes or duties which has to be imposed must be imposed through entry number 97 given in union list. Example, STT, CTT, Health and Education, SAS, etc. Further, these will be imposed, underlined, through a relevant finance act. There will be not separate act for these small taxes. Correct? Then concurrent list. Concurrent list, both government octroi duty, now after GST not relevant. A revenue matter, education, a non-revenue matter. Listen carefully. Education, non-revenue matter, right? For government, education does not give revenue to government, na? But it is a non-revenue matter and it is a concurrent matter. Listen carefully. That is the reason. Do you agree that there are all the boards? There are central boards of studies also, and there are state boards also. 10th standard. SSC is also there in Mumbai, which is a state board, right? And there is a central board also. That is CBSC, right? So it's a matter of concurrent nature. So both the government has the power to make their laws. Now the government is saying that we will bring new policy, new education policy. You might have heard about it. Pre-COVID, they have committed that. In that, there will be only one board for all the students across the country. Now let's see how that will be implemented. For that, it will take time. It's not that easy to implement that. Next, once the power has been established, point number 3. Through the constitution, the act can be made by the government through parliamentary process. An act always comes below the constitution and it is divided into chapters. 23 chapters are there and sections, 298 sections are there. The rules made by the government will follow the act and therefore the rules can never override the act but should be consistent with it. The power to make rules under the Income Tax Act is given in section 295. And then you can just read it at your end once. Only this page, don't turn the page, please. Okay, don't turn the page. That is the first section of Income Tax Act. Okay, don't turn the page, please. Now let's go ahead with the next one. Pay attention, please, all of you. What is the second section of every act? Can you tell? Yes, beta. Definition. Section 2 is about definition. And in Income Tax Act, even section 3 is about definition. These both sections are about definitions. Okay. And there are in all around 89 definitions under income tax law. Okay. This is just a knowledge which I had to give you. We will be learning all the definitions one by one whenever it is required. As of now, I am not getting into the definition. Okay. Obviously, definitions have to be done with the respective topics. Suppose if we are doing business and profession. So we will be talking about what is business. We'll be talking about what is profession. Suppose if we are doing, say, capital gain. So we'll be talking about what is capital asset, etc., etc. Obviously, we'll be doing these definitions over the time, not at one lecture. It will be done with the respective topics. Now, coming to the heart of every law. The heart of every law is called as charging section. Listen carefully. In every taxation law, you will find a charging section. In income tax law also it is there in section 4. Sir, what do you mean by the charging section? What do you mean by charging section? Anybody, please? What do you mean by charging section? No? No. Anybody? What do you mean by charging section? As I am saying, this is the heart of every law. And you have done this, you have done the entire body in C enter, but you don't know the heart. Can you elaborate, Bhavisha, thoda sa? No, that does not, it is not said by the charging section, beta. Anybody else? Venita? What is charging section? I'm not asking you technical questions. I'm just asking you a general thing. What does charging section will generally say? It is there in every law. Every taxation law will start with charging section only. That is the first thing which we need to understand before we go ahead. Sir, what is charging section? Listen carefully. I'll tell you. No. Charging section means an event. I'm asking you simple. Do you have to do something in life to be liable to pay tax? Or government will impose tax even on idle persons? Come here, you are sitting idle, pay tax. There is an idle tax concept we are bringing. All those who are sitting idle, then on that day government will become the wealthiest government in this country. Okay. The day on will they will bring idle tax concept. All those who are sitting idle at home will pay tax. Arey bhai, you have to do some activity in this world to pay taxes, right? Example. Why you pay toll? Toll charges, why you pay? You are sitting at your home, toll people will come to your home to ask toll. You have to cross that particular area, right? That is an event subject to which tax is imposed. So the charging section means an event subject to which tax is imposed. There has to be some event which is done at your end. Example, why GST will be imposed on me? Why? Or on any person. That person has to do some activity with respect to GST. That activity, that event is called as charging section. Example, if I manufacture and sell, then only GST will be imposed. Or if I just sell, then also GST will be imposed. Or if I provide a service like I am providing to you all, that also will be subject to GST. I have to do something in life. If I am idle, I am not subject to any kind of taxes in this country as of now at least. The same way, if I import something, then only I have to pay import duty. Why the hell I will pay import duty otherwise? If I purchase a house, then I will pay stamp duty. Otherwise, why I will pay stamp duty? So the charging section tells you the event subject to which the taxes or duties can be imposed on the SSE. So what is the charging section of it? What is the chargeability of income tax law? Very simple. When income tax law will be charged on you? When you earn some income, bhai. Otherwise, why the hell the government will impose taxes on you of income tax nature? How many people pay taxes in India? Income tax. What do you think? How many people pay income taxes in India? Income tax. Please. There are 140 crore people, right? How many people pay income tax in India? What do you think? I want an absolute number, not in percentage. Give a random number. Who is blaming you to give a wrong answer? You can say anything in this world. 5 to 6 crore people pay income tax in India, Bhavisha. Okay. Ajal? 4 करोड़. बहुत precise answer दिए इसने. She is answering as if she has collected the entire data from the country. 4 crore, sir. Vinita, what do you feel? How many people pay taxes in India? There are 5 to 6 crore people, listen carefully, who file ITR. That does not mean they pay what? Tax. More than half of the ITRs are nil only. You go to office, right? How many of you practice in income tax? Raise your hands, please. How many of you? Practice means even if you have filed ITR once in your life, I consider them as a practicing student. Most of you. So most of you are aware of what ITR is, right? I am not asking you the nitty-gritties of ITR in detail. I am just asking you in general. There are so many clients who are filing ITR only for the sake of formality, right? फैमिली में किसी ने भरा है तो चलो भर देते बाकी सबका भी. right? If once one of the family member is filing, so others will also file, right or not? And there are so many out of that who are paying taxes of 2,000 rupees, 3,000 rupees, 5,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees, 20,000 rupees, right? There are so many out of it. If you effectively see, not even 1 crore people pay income tax in India. Not even one. Lesser than that. Officially. Unofficially, there are a lot of people who earn a lot of more income. But they don't show that income. It's all black. Government is also not interested because those assessees are small assessees. Who will catch them? Who has the administration to catch them? Government does not have that much administration. They have to widen their administration base, which is not possible. It is not cost effective. Okay. So there are 5 to 6 crore people who just file ITR. More than half of the ITRs are nil. The ITRs which are not nil, maximum ITRs are not with substantial tax, which are with very minimal tax. Maximum ITRs. Very few ITRs are there which pay good amount of taxes. Coming to the charging section. So you have to earn income to pay tax. So what does the income tax law says in the charging section? Total income of a person for a previous year shall be charged to tax in the assessment year. This is the charging section which the income tax law has to say in section 4 in simple words. I am not getting into the technicalities as of now. I will get into the technicalities after some time. You have to earn total income. Total income should be earned by a person for a previous year, then it will be charged to tax in the assessment year. We need to learn all these words. What do you mean by total income? We need to learn the definition of total income first of all. We need to learn what do you mean by the term person. We need to learn what do you mean by the term previous year. We need to learn what do you mean by the term assessment year. All these yellow words are defined under income tax law. And if I say it is defined, where it is defined? In section 2. All of them are defined in section 2. We will be talking about all these definitions one by one. But before that, I would like to start with a very simplistic discussion, not with a complicated one. Total income of a person for a previous year shall be charged to tax. Okay. So who will compute tax? Who compute tax? Who compute tax first? Department will compute first tax or assessee will compute tax first? Assessee will compute tax. That concept is called as self-assessment of tax, right? Right or not? So what is tax? Assessee will do self-assessment of the taxation. And tax is equal to what? Tax is a function of two things. If I multiply two things, I will get tax. What are those two things? That is total income, right? Whatever is your total income, multiply by what? The rate of tax. Right? We will do from the very basics. So the question over here is from where I will get the tax rates? From where I will get the tax rates? Please tell me. I am asking such questions which you should be aware of if you are doing articleship. Now someone will say, sir, from the reckoner. Please don't answer such questions. Please don't answer. If you are saying reckoner, sir, we find the rates from reckoner, sir. We get it from the reckoner, sir. Ready reckoner is there in our office. We'll see from there. I am not asking from which book. I am asking the citation. Where it is written in the law. Yes, Bhavisha, louder. It is available in the respective finance act. Correct. Respective finance act will tell you the rates of the tax. Okay. I'll just put it over here. The relevant what? Finance act. Okay. Now I have a counter question to you, Bhavisha, because you have answered. Are all tax rates there in the relevant finance act? All. Or is there any other source as well? Abhi sir, you have made one arrow, so you might be making another arrow. So, sir, ho sakta hai. It is possible. Bhavisha, are all tax rates mentioned in the relevant finance act? Let me tell you now. There are two sources of tax rate. Shall I say? One is the Finance Act. For us, the Finance Act which is relevant is Finance Act 2022. Okay? For our exams. Second is the Income Tax Act itself. Now, let me tell you the difference between the two. What is the difference? Listen carefully. Are you listening? In the Finance Act, there are person-based rates. And in the Income Tax Act, there are income-based rates. I am explaining the meaning of both of them and the logic behind this also. We will be learning that subject with logics. It's not like you have done it in IPCC. Your teacher when you used to ask your teacher, why like this? Your teacher used to say, because it is written in the law. Right? This is the standard answer of all the teachers. This is written in the law. But law is also written by an individual, right? He might have thought something before writing it. His thought might be correct, his thought might be wrong, but he might have thought something. Government has not given him a pen and paper, write anything. It is not like that. He might have thought something before writing something. So for every word, for every comma, for every full stop, I will also tell you the logic behind. If there is some dash between a section, if you have seen in office, have you seen 194I section? TDS on rent? There is a dash in between. Observe that sometime. I'll tell you the logic of that also, that why there is a dash in between. Don't worry about it. Okay. And if you see 194C, there is no dash between it. You can go and observe it. We will be speaking about that also. We are not, I always say, I do not teach direct tax only for exams. Yes, exam is my priority. 70% of my discussion has to be from exam perspective. But you should also learn something out of my lectures. Because ultimately, direct tax is a subject where more than 50% of the people go and practice. More than 50% of the, what you will do after becoming CA? What you will do? Either tax or audit initially. Nobody is going to give you a job of CFO initially, right? That you can become eventually after a few years. In audit also, most of the people are not interested in going. Then what is left is tax, either GST or income tax. Right? Tax is a very important part of our syllabus, of our curriculum. We cannot ignore that from practical perspective. You need to understand from practical perspective as well. Therefore, there are two sources from where you will get rates. One is Finance Act and another is the relevant Income Tax Act, जो भी है आपका. ठीक है? Now listen carefully. Here there is person-based rates, here there is income-based rates. Sir, what do you mean by person-based rates? Person-based rates means individual's tax rates is what, HUF's tax rate is what, company's tax rate is what, then foreign company's tax rate is what, AOP's tax rate is what, cooperative society's tax rate is what, trust tax rate is what. This is person-based, right? This is person-based, right? Person to person, is it changing? Is it changing person to person? Then there are certain income-based rates. These are not person-based. Like lottery is subject to 30% tax, right? Long-term capital gains is subject to 10% in some cases, 20% in some cases, right? Short-term capital gain in stock market is subject to 15% tax. Right or not? So try to understand, where are those rates mentioned? Lottery is mentioned in 115BB. Of which act? Of Income Tax Act. Long-term and short-term capital gains mentioned in 112 and 112A of Income Tax Act. And the next one, short-term capital gains stock market, 111A. You might be aware of, you might not be aware of it. It's all okay. Even if you don't know these things, it's all okay. We are not learning any sections today. I'm just keeping the structure ready in front of you. And here, there are person-based rates. So all the person-based rates, if you want to find in future, you have to open the relevant Finance Act. And all the income-based rates, if you want to find out, you have to open the Income Tax Act, Chapter 12. Which chapter? Please repeat. Chapter 12. If you will find all, I have said now today, that entire act is divided in 23 chapters, right? So the chapter 12 talks about what? Chapter 12 talks about the special tax rates, which are on special incomes. Why they have made this bifurcation, that logic will also come. Listen carefully. Please come here. Please come over here. Listen my words carefully. Please answer to my question. These person-based rates, do they change on a regular basis? On a year-to-year basis? If not on a year-to-year basis, in every 2-3 years, government makes some changes in that? Please answer. I'll tell you from 14 to 22, there are so many changes which are made. Shall I? Earlier, the slab rate was starting from 2 lakh rupees. How much? Now it is 2,50,000. Earlier, the rebate available to the people of this country was only 2,500 rupees. How much? Now it is 12,500. If you are aware of that, right? Rebate, 87A rebate, right? Earlier, the surcharge was different. Now it is 10% to some people it is 15%. Some people surcharge it is 25%, and to some people, some extremely rich people, surcharge is 37% also. So the rates which are mentioned over here are frequently changing on a year-to-year basis. So the something which are frequently changing on a year-to-year basis, the government does not want to make that as a part of Income Tax Act, because the government does not want to change Income Tax Act every year. They want to keep that as a part of what? The relevant Finance Act, which comes every year. We will change every year. We'll make changes every year in the Finance Act itself. But lottery, what is lottery taxable at? What rate? Please answer. Lottery is taxable at what rate? 30%, right? So now it is 30%. When you were doing IPCC at that time, it was taxable at what rate? Forget about when you were doing IPCC. When I was doing IPCC at that time also it was 30%. Forget about you. Okay, I have done IPCC around in 2009, 2008-9. So around 13 years back also it was 30% only. Now also it is 30%. Forget about when I was doing IPCC. When my teachers were doing IPCC at that time also it was 30% only. The point I am trying to say, these rates do not change on a regular basis. Long-term capital gains, 20% since last 30 years. 111A, 15% since last 20 years. Do not change. So something which do not change become part of what? Please say. Income Tax Act. Are you clear? Are you clear? So if somebody asks you henceforth, where are the tax rates mentioned? You say there are two sources. Which tax rates you want? He will say, I want tax rate of company. Then say, go to Finance Act. He will say, no, I want tax rate of this income. Then say, go to Income Tax Act. Okay, is it clear? Now, when you see an amendment, whenever you do in office, etc., you will see an amendment that Finance Act 2022 has made some amendments. Okay, you might see in office. Like a very big amendment has come in Finance Act 2022, if you know, for cryptocurrency. You know that? That the government has said that if you sell crypto, it will be subject to 30% flat tax, like lottery. Do you know that? Even if you don't know, it's okay. There is a separate chapter in your book, Virtual Digital Asset, which will talk about the taxability of crypto. Okay, don't worry about it. But I'm just trying to explain you one small thing over here. Pay attention, please. Suppose in Finance Act 2022, there is one amendment which is made by the Government of India, which says that this is applicable from 1/4/2023. Then what does it mean? Generally, it means it is applicable for AY 23-24, which means it is applicable from PY 22-23. Generally, the amendment dates which is given in the law, it is making a reference of AY, not PY. Generally, maximum things under the income tax law are done from the perspective of AY only. You compute income in what? PY or AY? AY. You pay taxes in AY generally. Some taxes are paid in PY in the form of advance tax, right? You file return when? In PY or AY? AY. Even in ITR it is written what? AY. इसलिए generally people, normal people who do not understand income tax law, they never understand the year only. They say, if it is for 21-22, then why it is written 22-23? They ask this question or not? Because they don't know the logic of PY and AY, right? Then we say, we have done computation in 22-23, but the income is of 21-22 only. So we write in income tax law in that language. So most of the things under the income tax law is like that only. So if you find out something like this, that this provision is applicable from 1/4/2023, then you say it is applicable from AY 23-24, PY 22-23. Similarly, there might be some amendment made in this law, which is applicable from 1/4/2015. Amendment is made in 22, but is it applicable from 15? These amendments are called as what? Retrospective amendment. Which amendments? Retrospective. The government also has the power to make an amendment from backside, from behind. So this will be applicable from which AY? Please tell. AY 15-16. That is PY 14-15. Is it clear? Is it clear? Coming to this particular section again. So I have just told you that how to compute tax. Tax is equal to total income into rates. And I have just taught you one small thing, that is from where to get the rates. That's it. I have not taught you anything apart from that. Now the second part of this formula is what? What is? Please say. What is total income? This is the second part of this formula. Okay. Now let us try to understand this. What is total income? Please tell me. Whatever comes to your mind. Your entire knowledge of IPCC is at stake now. In the entire IPCC, you have done only one thing, that is total income computation, right? So today I am asking you, what is total income? Please answer. Please answer. What do you mean by the term total income? Whatever comes to your mind, it's all okay. You have come to learn. You can say wrong answers here. Income from PGBP is total income. Okay. Apart from that, salaries is PGBP income. Then Gopichand, I'll repeat. Kajal has answered in one single line. All heads of income, sir. Sum of all heads of income is total income. You have misunderstood my question. My question is, I am repeating. I have asked what is total income. I have not asked how total income is computed. I am not asking the computation. I am asking the meaning. Okay. Income earned by a person. Where? Anywhere in this world. In India, it means it should be charged to tax in India. Bhavisha? A person is working in US. Okay. Listen carefully. He is earning some salary in US. He is staying there. A person is earning in US, receiving in US, staying in US. Indian government should be interested. Why the hell they will be interested? Why? Who are Indian government to be interested in that income? So the income has to come within the scope of India, right? First of all. Therefore, this is the beauty with which the definition has been made. Listen carefully of total income. I am defining total income today. Please do not forget this definition till the very last lecture. Please, ever. It is defined in section 2, clause 45. Section 245 defines total income. And it is defined into two parts. First of all, total income means, listen carefully all of you. Total income means an income as specified in section 5. And the second part of this, computed in the manner laid down in this act. Listen carefully, please. Leave aside everything now. All of you. All these things are there in the book. You don't have to write anything. Forget about this part now. Let us talk about the left hand side as of now. Total income means what? It is an income which is specified in section 5, and you will ask now, what is section 5? Section 5 is your favorite topic of CA Inter. Which you liked most, which you loved most, from where you used to score most of the marks. I'll tell you. You remember in CA Inter you used to make 3 columns. One is R and OR. Another is R and NOR. And third is NR. Do you remember that? I am not getting into the residential status as of now. Residential status I'll speak sometime later. I'll be definitely speaking about when a person become resident, when a person become non-resident. He has to stay in India for 182 days. He has to stay in India for 60 days. He has to stay in India for 365 days in the last 4 years. I'll be speaking about all those things. Don't worry about it. Those are very important aspects even today in CA final also. But let us try to understand. Please pay more than 100% attention for the next few minutes. This is the base of the entire subject. You need to understand what is total income. When I asked total income, you started saying me that PGBP is total income, HP is total income, salary. That is computation. That will come in the second part of this particular definition, that is in the right hand side. Can you see that? But before you compute, you need to know what to compute. You have to compute that income which comes within what? The scope of India. Section 5 talks about what? Scope of total income. And in CA Inter you might have learned, listen carefully, if you are a resident, then world income is taxable. Do you agree to this? If I am a resident, I am here 365 days in India, I am a resident in India, then world income is taxable in my hands. If I have property in Dubai, then that is also taxable in India. If I have business in Singapore, that is also taxable in India, because for residents, world income is taxable. But for non-residents, there are only 2 incomes which are taxable. Either the income has to be received in India, or the income has to be either what? Accrued in India. Do you remember that? this all comes with the logic. What is the logic of accrual? What is the logic of receipt? Listen carefully, all of you. There has to be some logic. The first logic is why residents are chargeable to global income. Why residents are chargeable to global income? The logic is very simple. You are staying here for most of the times, right? You are using resources of this country, so pay taxes in India. Why non-residents are not chargeable to global income in India? Because they are not staying in India. So they will be chargeable to tax in India only if their income is either accrued with India, it has relationship with India, or it is received in Indian bank account, or else we will not take the taxes from them. Same logic, if a person is staying in United States, earning income over there, receiving over there, then why the hell Indian government will be interested in that? But if a United States person come to Mumbai, and in Mumbai he earns some income, should the government of India be interested? Please tell me. If a United States person come to Mumbai and earn some income in Mumbai, should the government of India be interested in that income? The answer is yes. Therefore, before you start to compute the income, you need to know the scope of that income. Don't say that salary is taxable in India. Salary has to come within the scope. And salary is earned globally by every country. You cannot take taxes of salary from the entire world in India. We don't have that right. So taxability depends upon three factors. One is residential status, one is accrual, one is receipt. Do you agree? So I'm just to conclude this discussion, I'm asking one last question for confirmation. If you are a resident, then world income will be taxable. If you are non-resident, then only income which is accrued or received will come in the scope of India, right? Once that is done, if you know that the income has come into the scope, then you start computing the income. And then you classify the income into how many heads? How many heads? 5 heads. And where it is written that income is divided into 5 heads, it is written in section 14. Section 14 classifies income into 5 heads and then starts your first head of income. Please tell me which is the first head of income. Salary. It starts from which section? Sir, please let us make one rule. Don't ask us sections. Right? I can ask this much, yeah. Which section it starts? I'm not asking what is the section of perquisite, what is the section of POGA, what is the section of Payment of Gratuity Act, what is the section of HRA. I'm not asking all those things. I'm just asking a range from where it starts. 15 to 17. Perfect. Which is the next head of income? House property. From where it starts? Now you will say, obviously 18, sir. 17 has just completed. So after 17, what comes is 18, right? But it is not like that. It starts from 28, 22 to 27. Then where is 18? Where is 19? Where is 20? Where is 21? All of them are omitted from income tax law. Go and check. All of them are removed. It is not inapplicable. Removed. Directly removed from the law. It used to be applicable once upon a time. Long back it is removed. Now it is dormant. It's of no use. Then comes your big one, PGBP, profits and gains of business and profession. Starts from where? 28 and ends on 44 DB to be precise. Then comes your capital gains. Starts from 45, ends on 55A, and then comes your IFOS, income from other source, 56 to 59. What comes after IFOS? Please tell. Sir, over. This will not complete your income total computation. Excellent, excellent. Clubbing will come and set off will come if it is there. If there are clubbing provisions which will come from 60 to 65, set off provisions which will come from 70 to 80. In between there are certain sections which are omitted or which are not relevant in computation at least. What will come after this? The last one. After all these things you will get your gross total income, right? And then from gross total income you will remove what? Chapter 6A deductions, right? And what is left is your total income. So when I asked what is total income, you said this statement, right? Please tell. But before coming to this statement, do you agree you need to find out whether your income come within the scope of taxability or not? For that, you need to find out the residential status of the assessee, the accrual, the place of accrual, and the place of receipt. Right? Without that, you cannot tax any person in this country. It is not possible. It is not possible to tax anybody without that. Is it clear to everyone? Now, coming to one last discussion of the day and a very important discussion of the day. Coming to this definition, that what is total income, sir? So, total income is there in front of you. Total income means an income. Listen carefully, leave aside everything. That's it for the day. One last discussion, but the most important one. Total income means an income. Full stop. Just wait here. So now the question will arise, what do you mean by the term what? Income. What do you mean by the term income? Total income means income, which is referred in section 5. Section 5 talks about scope. Either you need to be resident, or if you are non-resident, then income has to be either accrued or either it has to be received. Right? But before that, total income means income. So what do you mean by the term income? I am asking you all the definition. Please answer. What do you mean by the term income? Tell your own answer. What do you mean by income? It's not a very dangerous pharmaceutical word or a medical word. It's a very simple word of 5 to 6 letters. Nothing more than that. What do you mean by the term income? In general parlance. Yes, Vinita. Sorry. Please continue. Can you elaborate? Don't be diplomatic and give a diplomatic answer. Consideration received for exchange of any work is income. Okay, Bhavisha. For any work? Through economic activity. Okay. Fine. Anything else you can add on? Everyone is correct. I am not saying anybody is wrong. Even I don't know what is income. So I am asking you all. What is income? Gopichan, what is income? What do you feel? What? Anything which is earned legally. So something which is earned illegally is not an income. Let's talk about this legal and illegality part tomorrow, Gopichan. We will have discussion on this. On legal and illegal point. Okay. Anybody else? Kajal? What is income? I'm asking you a question. Okay. I'm putting one example in front of you, out of context example, little bit out of context, but I'll come to context in a while. But I'm asking you just a question. Suppose there is a guy who wants to get married. Okay. And he wants to get married, arranged marriage. He don't want any lafada of law marriage. Okay. Arranged marriage. Okay. Listen to my example. So this guy goes to his mom and says that I want to get married. His mom says that yes, we'll try to find girl. We'll try to search for girls now. Okay. And see whether it matches with you or not. Say they have found one girl. Okay. And he likes that girl in photo. So he goes to meet that girl at her place. Okay. Girl's father is also there over here, obviously. Girl's mother is also there over there. Will they ask this guy, what do you earn? What is your income? Will they ask that guy? I'm not asking the amount. Amount is very rude in the first meet to ask the amount. Okay. Do not do that. Please. But at least will you ask the source? That what is your income? Right? At that time, that guy will say that, listen, bhai, I get up in the morning and I buy a lottery. What? I buy a lottery and I wait for the evening to come. If I win, then we eat or else we sleep like that only. That is our income. So my question to you all is it an income? Lottery? Another question asked, what is your income? To that guy. That guy says that if somebody gives me some kind of gift, so I do my living out of that. Whatever living I do, I get some gift from my friends and I do my living out of that. So if somebody will not give you a gift, then you will not eat. That we don't know. If somebody will not give me, that has not happened so far. Some or the other person give us something every day. Receiving gift is your income. Don't explain me in the parlance of income tax law. Please explain me in the context of general concept. You have a birthday. Somebody gives you a gift on your birthday. Is that your income? Is that your income? When a guy comes to you, for example, you are also getting married. Okay? I am talking to girls. Or Gopichand, I am talking to you also. Suppose you are getting arranged marriage. Will you be satisfied with that guy who says that I take a lottery? Will you consider that as an income? Income also in your perspective. Please tell me. Definitely no. Then what is income? Not defined in income tax law. Let me tell you very clearly. The term income is not defined in income tax law. Not defined in income tax law. Then what is income? Income has to be defined. It is not defined in the law. Then you have to go to dictionary. Dictionary means general meaning. Day-to-day life mein what you say. What is the definition of the term income? Listen carefully. Whatever examples, bullshit examples that I have given you is not an income. A person cannot say that I buy a lottery and then I wait for the money to come. If money will come, I'll eat or else I'll sleep like that only. You cannot say that is your income. What is income then? Income is something which is revenue in nature. What? Revenue in nature. Income is something which is recurring in nature, which is coming from a definite source, which is real in nature. It cannot be a one-time receipt. It cannot be a fictional receipt. It has to be a real receipt. This is the meaning of definition. This is the definition of income as per the dictionary. Salary is an income because it comes from a definite source of what? Employment. Rent is an income because it comes from a definite source of what? House property. Capital gains is an income because it comes from a definite source of sale and purchase of assets. Your profits is income because it comes from a definite source of business and profession. Your interest and dividend is an income because it comes from a definite investment in the form of shares and securities and debentures and FDs. You cannot say that my income is gift. Have you heard anybody saying this? If you ask, what's your income? He will say, my income is gift. My income is lottery. Are a gift, lottery, all these things are capital receipts. One-time receipts. These are windfall gains. Hawa ka jhoka. Windfall gains. These cannot be called as your income. It has to be revenue. It has to be recurring. It has to be coming from a definite source. This is what income is. And this is the intention with which the income tax law was made in 1961, that income is equal to only something which is really an income. Only real income, and this theory is called as real income theory. That take only those things income which are income. Therefore, salary is an income, rent is an income, interest is income, dividend is income, profits is income. That's it. The gate of income is closed. And this is the intention with which the income tax law was made. Something which is really an income, tax that. Something which is not really an income, something which is not recurring in nature, something which is capital gains, capital receipts or windfall gains, once in a while receipt. Ignore that things for the purpose of income tax law. Now listen carefully what used to happen. I'm making one graph over here. Suppose I'm making one graph x-axis and I'm making this graph as income. And I'm making one graph as y-axis and I'm making this graph as rates of tax. Okay, now listen carefully. Here there are a lot of incomes like salary, rent, profits, dividend, interest. Okay, listen carefully all of you, please. Please pay attention. Very important and concluding discussion for the day. So when 1961 government made a law, the government said that yes, salary is an income because it is really an income. Rent is an income because it is coming from a definite source. Profits is an income because it is coming from a definite source. It is recurring in nature. Dividend, interest recurring in nature, coming from a definite source, income. So you can see the graph of the axis, x-axis. There is a very big page in my side, but I'm making a very small line over here. I can utilize the entire page over here, right? But I'm not utilizing because my scope of income is very less as of now, right? And tax rate is say 20%. I'm talking about 1961. Okay. Now the government wants more tax because the country has to be run. They need money to run the country. So what they will do? They will increase taxes. So they made this 30%. They got more tax. Now they want more tax now. Further more tax. So they increase that to 40%. 40% tax was there in India. Yes, 40% tax was there. Surcharge, cess, etc. That is a different thing. Then they need further tax. Their stomach is not getting full. 50% tax. 50% tax was imposed in India. Yes, once upon a time. Not today. Today there is maximum 40% tax for foreign companies, not for Indians. Stomach is still not full. 60% tax. 60% tax India mein. Yes. Are you aware of that? And can you imagine this can go up till what? Can you imagine that? Anybody? वो तो मैम obvious बात है 100%. It cannot go beyond 100%. Government cannot tell you whatever you want, give that plus give extra also. Government cannot tell you that. Let me tell you, this has gone up to the length of the graph is showing you where it has gone. Right? 97.75% was the effective tax rate in India between 1973 to 1976. How much tax? This is only income tax I am talking about. 97.75% tax. There will be no motivation in me to get up early in the morning and to take lectures. There will be no motivation in you also to earn income, right? For whom you are earning income? For government? I am not joking. You can check. You can check. I know the first thing which you will do after the lecture is going to Google it and see whether it was really 97.75% or not. The first thing which you will do is after lecture is this only. You can Google it. You can check it. It was there. 97.75% was the highest slab I am saying. The way the highest slab today is 30%, right? At that time, 97.75%. What is left? If I earn 1000 rupees, I'll get 22 rupees. Barabar? 978 will be taken by government. That 22 rupees, what I will do? That will go in traveling only. More than that will go in traveling. What I will do out of that? Nothing. That apart from better than that, I will sleep at home. I will not do anything in the life. Or I will try to generate black income then. Why will I earn white income then? People agitated like anything. Government also realized. People agitated. People said that we will not pay any tax. Do whatever you want to do. Do whatever you want to do. We will not pay any tax. When people started agitating, government started reducing this. Listen carefully. Government started reducing this. They came down to 30%. But government need money, right, beta? They need money. So they started increasing the scope of income. They started putting such things in income which were not real but unreal, which were not revenue but capital, which were not real but fictional, notional, anticipated. They started putting that and they started making a definition for income by putting a separate definition under section 2 clause 24 which defines income. Now they started saying that income includes gift, income includes lottery, income includes horse race, income includes subsidy also. The government which gives you subsidy, right? That is also income. We will take taxes on that also. And they have made a long list of around 31 items which are there in income now, not 4-5 items. The logic is very simple. If you want to increase tax, there are two ways to increase tax, right? Listen carefully. Either increase the rate or increase the income. The taxes will increase, right? Mathematically. Now, government has realized that if we increase rates, it will come into the eyes of common people. Do you agree to this or not? You have done your CA Inter, right? Obviously. You have some knowledge of tax, right? Some knowledge that you would have realized that you have only some knowledge of tax today only, right? Now my question to you all is, if you have done your CA Inter and you have some knowledge of tax, you only don't know what is income under income tax law, what will I expect from non-tax people? Can I expect that? What will I expect that what amendments government is making in the definition of income to increase tax? Can I expect that from normal people of this country? No. Do you know that to increase the tax revenue by at least 2 lakh crore rupees, in 2015, the government included subsidy in the definition of income? Do you know that? You did not know being a tax student. But if the same government, if they wants to increase 2 lakh crore revenue, if they increase the tax rate from 30 to 40%, every person of this country will shout. Yes or no? So this is the game. Don't increase simple things. Increase complicated things. Don't play with small things, which are very common for the common people to understand. Don't play with the tax rates. In fact, show to the people of this country that we are reducing taxes. Show to the people of this country that we are giving rebates. Right or not? I'm just asking you a simple question. In GST, if the government increase GST of certain products, everybody shouts. Suppose if some products are shifted from 12 to 18%, everybody shouts. People shout only at this time. They don't know if they make any changes in the valuation rules of GST. They can increase taxes by that also, na? That will not be understood to the common people of this country. Do you agree to this or not? What do you think? Government is only increasing the GST rates or what? They are not increasing the base of the tax. They are also increasing the base in some or the other way. Either you increase the amount or you rate. Either of the two you increase, the taxes will increase. Either of the two you reduce, the taxes will reduce. And if you want to reduce, listen carefully. Reduce rate little bit, increase base more. Right? That will increase again taxes. So this is the game the government has played. See this. See this long definition of income. Income includes profits and gains. Yes, we agreed. That is there since very beginning. Income includes dividend. I'm not reading this. I'm just showing you. Income includes dividend. Now there are so many things which are there over here. Income include lottery. Income include keyman insurance policy money. Income include advance. Income includes subsidy, grant, reimbursement from government. You can see over here how widely they have made this particular definition. Can you imagine that? This is known as expanding the base of income tax law. What is it called? Expanding the base of income tax law. Do not increase the rate. Rate is very evitable to the people of this country. Increase the base, which normal people cannot understand. Even CA inter student don't understand that. Forget about normal people. Do that. Now, who is aware of all these things? Few chartered accountants and few tax practitioners. Let them shout. In the voice of 140 crore people, their voice will not be audible. Correct? Correct or not? 2-3 lakh chartered accountants will shout max to max. They will also not shout. They will say, let the base increase. हमारा क्या जाता है? हमको तो और practice मिलेगा. We will get more work. What do you feel that? Should the income tax law be complicated or easy as a chartered accountant? As a chartered accountant. Obviously, make it more complicated. Make it so complicated that nobody understood in this country. Barabar? Right? Gopichand. Gopichand is saying at least for exam it should be easy. I am not asking from exam perspective. I am asking from practical perspective. It has to be complicated. If it is easy, you will not sit in front of me. As a student also, you will not sit. Forget about as a practitioner, as a client. It is complicated and assessee wants, the tax practitioners wants it to be more complicated so that there are clients which can come to them. And the government is making complicated and complicated and complicated to increase the tax revenue. So as of now, definition of income is not there. Definition is not there. This is just an inclusive list. Which list? Listen, see here. What kind of list it is? Inclusive. Even today, the government does not take the pain of defining the definition. They have just given a list. That this is income, this is income, this is income, this is income, this is income. We are not saying what is income. Did you understand what I said? What is income is not there. What things will come in income? Yes, that list is there. That list is there. Okay. So we'll conclude the lecture here. Just 2 minutes. We will just recap whatever we have done today so that we go on and note that whatever we have done today, we know that. Okay. So we'll recap the things. I'll start with the discussion. You guys have to speak within 2 minutes. We'll do that. Okay. It will be done in 2 to 3 minutes. First thing, who has the power to impose income tax? Constitution will give the power to whom? Government. And which entry gives the power to the government to impose income tax? Entry number 82. Which taxes on which income government cannot impose? Agriculture income, they cannot impose taxes, right? Apart from that, they can impose taxes on every other income, right? Except agriculture income. Okay. Then income tax, along with Income Tax Act, there are income tax rules also. Yes, who make rules? Central government will make rules. Okay. Now, then there is a parliamentary process, etc. All those things are obviously not relevant for exams. Exams mean nobody is going to ask you the parliamentary process and all. That is for our knowledge. Coming to the first section of Income Tax Act. Income Tax Act is applicable to the whole of India, including J&K. Yes, India means landmass, 12 nautical miles, water, territorial waters. That comes later. Air, space above it. And then the fourth one is exclusive economic zone up to 200 nautical miles, right? Okay. Next is short title. You know that what is the name of this act. From when it is applicable, from 1/4/1962, that also you know. Okay. Now, to compute tax, you need two things. Which two things? Total income and rate. Rate from where you will get? Finance Act, which rates you will get? Finance Act, which rates you will get? Person based rates you will get from Finance Act. And Income Tax Act, which rates you will get from there? Income based rates, like lottery rates, like capital gains rates. These are income based rates, right? And the logic behind putting over here is they do not change on a frequent basis. So let it put it as a part of Income Tax Act itself, right? Now coming to what? Coming to the second half of the calculation. Tax is equal to total income into rates. Then what is total income? There are two parts in that. Please tell. Income coming under section 5. And which incomes come under section 5? That depends upon residential status. If the assessee is resident, then global income will come, world income will come. If the assessee is non-resident, then income earned in India or income, please say, either received in India. Either of the two income will come. Once that is done, then we will go for computation. Otherwise, what will happen? You will compute, you do all the mehnat, you will do all the hard work, and then you will come to know that it is not coming in the scope only. Right or not? So first decide the scope and then go for the computation. And then computation, you have 5 heads. You have set off, you have clubbing, right? Then chapter 6A, you will get total income. And at the end, we decided what is income. Is there a meaning of income given by the law? Please answer. No. There is only an inclusive list given by the law. Yes, all these things can come in income. And now today in 2022-23 financial year, income not only includes what? A real and revenue income, but it also includes capital receipts. Are you clear? To increase what? The tax base. The government is not increasing the rate. The government is increasing the base of the tax. Is everyone clear with this? Okay. So we'll end the lecture here.